Well, happy Friday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Thanks so much for being here. It's great to be here with my boys. Yeah, it's Friday. I think everybody's spirits are high because I got a great night's sleep. I slept right to the alarm. Lately I've been doing that a little bit more, and it's good because you got a pretty good night's sleep, but I woke up in like a panic when the alarm goes off. I usually wake up at 1, go back to sleep till 2, wake up at 3. Right to that alarm this morning. Just freaked me out, but I'm here. I feel great. I'm Woodsy, by the way. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing very well. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
Good morning. Question for both of you. I've never asked you this before.
9 inches.
Oh. Do you use an alarm clock or your iPhone?
Phone.
All right. Now, which?
Also, I'm married to one. I'm married to an alarm clock. So,
I actually use two. We have an actual alarm clock. It's like a smart alarm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which tone, or do you use music?
I use the it's like the cascading thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I got radar as mine.
Radar. How do I find it?
I'll
play it.
Go to alarms.
Clock and alarms.
Clock.
And then
Alarms.
Click one and then hit sound.
Click one.
Oh, no, I do radial, I think. It's
Radial is
default.
mine too. No way.
You guys, radial.
Yeah.
That's us.
We have the
Yeah.
same one. Dude, kind of trippy.
I do.
I
I
just
do the same
that
one
makes me insane.
That one drives me crazy.
Bogey bing, bogey,
See-
bogey, bingo.
because
Bogey,
that's
bong, dee, dee, down the bottom.
that
This makes
is
me
my
nuts.
that is my ringtone. And I wake up a lot more alertly if I think it's a phone call coming in than a different alarm.
That's true. That's true.
It's totally by design.
This is gentle and like almost kind of
So
soothing.
I went through like the other week because thinking there must be one better because I'm getting tired of this one. And I went through every single other
They
one
all
that was
suck.
and they're all terrible.
Terrible.
They're all terrible. The radio, it's the only one that I feel like doesn't wake me up in a panic when
Yeah.
I hear it.
Yeah, what is that instrument on that? Is it like a xylophone or like marimbas or
It says
something?
marimba.
Marimba?
Yeah.
Doo-da-ding-da-da-ding-da-ding-dong. It makes me insane. I can't stand it. I don't have a ringtone. I have no ringtone.
It's only buzz.
I don't even have
When you're-
buzz.
Ugh, I hate that. I do too.
You see what I'm saying though? Like it's
Yes,
the
if you-
same sound.
As your phone.
Forget what the sound actually is. I made it the same though as my ringtone because now it's like, oh crap, did I oversleep? Is somebody calling me? Where you at?
Woods, get your ass up
Where
good
the
in here.
F are you?
It's weird though. That is weird, Ben. That you and I, out of all the
Well, it is the default selection, so that
Oh, it
means
is?
neither of us have decided to change
I
it
thought-
off the default.
I
At least
thought
it says
Paulie's was.
that. I don't know. Mine says default.
I think
radial,
you said
so.
it. I think you said it as
My default,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I feel great. Slept right up to it and feel fantastic. Got a great weekend planned ahead too. Happy Father's Day weekend to all of the fathers out there. All the dads out there. Want to give a shout out to my dad, one of the biggest tier ones I know, Gary Woods. Pops, I love you. Happy Father's Day. You are truly, truly the GOAT and have provided me not only a really, really great life, but so much content. I mean, pounds and loads of content my dad is responsible for. Some of my favorite content. My dad is amazing. So happy Father's Day to you. Thanks for being the example for me. And I love you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, my dad, Steve Higgins.
Chief.
The
Yeah, Chief.
as all the grandkids call him. He is
The fastest golfer in the world.
yes, he is. He is.
Look, you're 8 feet. Pick it up. Are you sure?
That's good.
That's for birdie?
Do you-
Good.
I don't think you can really express how wonderful it is to have someone that is so dependable that no matter what happens, he's there. He's the backstop. He's got
100%.
you. If something bad happens, he'll step in and he'll fix it.
Yeah.
Just solid. Absolutely every single day of my life that I have known him.
Yeah.
Always there, whether from Little League, throwing hundreds of pitches of BP every day, just
Yep.
dependable right down the middle. I think maybe like out of the, I don't know, growing up, 15 to 30,000 pitches he threw me, I think he hit me once.
Oh, I hit Bo all the time.
See, he never hit me and if I did, I probably wouldn't have wanted to play baseball anymore.
Well,
but
he knew. He knew. I can't hit this
good.
guy.
He was solid.
I cannot
solid.
I can't hit this dude. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Paulie, don't make it uncomfortable. I'm begging you.
I just wanted to wish both of your dads a happy Father's Day as well, because I don't have anyone else.
Every year I have to do it. I have to say happy Father's Day to my dad and all the other dads. Happy Father's Day to you, Ben. Of course.
This weekend, we just call it Sunday at my house.
Paulie lives in a matriarchal society.
Yes.
Can I give you a special exemption?
Surrounded by women, female dogs.
Yes. I was going to give you a special exemption. I will allow it if you want to celebrate Sunday. You being a dog dad, I'm going to allow you and only you are the only one that I give a special. If I see a post from Megan,
dog dad the S out of this weekend.
If I see a post from Megan, I'm not going to get upset. I give you, it is so decreed in San Diego, Paulie is the only one that gets to celebrate being a dog dad. I won't feel offended. Okay, he gets a special exemption.
I more so like posting pictures every year on Father's Day with me, and like I've posted a picture with me and Steve Fisher.
Yes, I love that.
I posted a picture of me and Randy Jones.
I love that bit, dude. I do. It makes me laugh every year.
Perhaps Mike Shildt would like to be your dad for the day. We'll have him on later today.
Hey, boy. Man, well, to all the dads out there, listen, sometimes you don't feel like you're doing enough. Sometimes you feel like you're doing too much. I overdad way too much. I mean, I got to check myself and go, hey man, relax. Just relax. You don't need to be such a dad right now. And it's hard. I've really been going through that lately. That's been a thing recently.
See, now I worry I'm more under dad at this point.
See, I'm an
boys
over dad.
They're solid. They're older. And I feel like, should I be stepping in more, or should I let them fly?
It's such a hard thing that dads have to. It's the needle you got to thread, right? I mean, it's just a very tough thing. And for me, I feel like when I let them fly at their young age, Ben, I'm like, well, now am I just being neglectful? Am I neglecting them? But then I get overbearing sometimes about, do this and do that and make sure sit down. Let's give a lesson here. And I'm like, all right, man, stop overdadding. Let the game come to you a little bit. But I am, being a father is my greatest joy. It's my greatest joy that I've ever had. I love it so much. And my boys are awesome. And I know they're going to make it a special day for me just by, me waking up that day. So to all the tier 1 dads out there, I love you. I'm thinking about you. To those of you that have lost your dads this year, our friend Dominic in the chat, first Father's Day without him. I know it's an awful day. It's going to gut me. When it happens to me, it's going to be very, very difficult. So our hearts are with you. We love you, and we're thinking about you.
My wife's late father, he passed away July 10th.
Oof.
And his birthday is like always a week after Father's Day. So like Father's Day to mid-July is just kind of a fog. It's a rough patch
every single year. Yeah, it's not easy in our house either, with my wife losing her father. And so, it's just it's a tough one, man. So listen, I wanted to also take a moment to, there's a reason I did this second edition of our mental health group called The Work that I put together. There's a reason I did it tomorrow. I wanted it to be this weekend, and because I think, there's a lot of dads out there that need help and are afraid to ask for it, or they're embarrassed to ask for it, or whatever. So we're going to be doing it again, just a little men's group that we put together, and it's called The Work because it is work. It's a place you can come, share, listen, don't share, whatever. It's going to be at the Sanctuary by the Lost Abbey. It's going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m., 1215 San Alejo Road in San Marcos, the Sanctuary by the Lost Abbey, and 11 a.m. tomorrow. Hope to see you guys there. Come on out and share. Meet some friends, people that are going through it too. Like I said, man, I've been white knuckling it a little bit lately, so I'm looking forward to it, going in and trying to get a little vulnerable with the fellas. And I know so many men are, like I said, embarrassed to come in and say, hey man, I got problems. Things aren't going great for me. And I'm one of them, raising my hand here. So tomorrow, 11 a.m., the Sanctuary by the Lost Abbey, plenty of parking. Great venue. Come in, sit down and chill. Now, there's no frills. There's no bagels, coffee. If you want something, bring it yourself. It's BYOL liquid. And you BYOD, bring your own donuts. BWD, bring Woods donuts, whatever you want. But would love to see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m.
I think there is especially if you are a dad, there's a certain pressure to not show things are wrong because you always feel like you have to be the dependable one.
100%.
I certainly feel like I have to be, the dependable one for my kids and my family. So when you let that weakness creep in, I think it can be fairly devastating. Like now I'm letting everyone down. It's not just me I'm letting down. Yeah. I'm letting everybody down if I'm not, 100%. And that's a lot of pressure for anybody to have to deal with.
Yeah, no doubt. And so many men have been taught over the years to, hey, dude, you're a P word if you're upset. You're a guy yesterday in the chat said you're a pansy. And I said, yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's like I said in the first meeting. If I break my leg, like somebody said, well, everyone uses therapy as a crutch. And I said, 100%. If I break my leg, give me a crutch. My leg is broken. Give me 2 crutches, and I'm going to crutch around till my leg is healed. That's absolutely a crutch. It's not a bad thing. Walking around with a broken leg doesn't make you a tough guy. Kind of makes you an idiot. So walking around with a broken heart, broken brain, broken feelings, whatever, also, it doesn't have to be that way. Get the crutch. Use the crutch. Make your life a little bit easier. Make your life a little bit better. And as you heal, then you can get rid of the crutch, so to speak. So that's kind of my point. Very, very, it's weird to always say I'm excited because it's a serious thing, but I'm looking forward to getting in there tomorrow at 11.
That's a good analogy that you just made.
I appreciate it. It's true. It's absolutely true.
Why would anyone think it's weird if someone broke their leg that they would use something to help them get around?
You would think it was weird if, like, hey, buddy, what happened? Oh, I broke my leg.
You're just hopping around.
Why are you hopping around?
I can't show any weakness. I can't get any help.
I'm not going to use a crutch. I'm not a P, dude. Come on. Like, well, no, please get a crutch. You're going to make it.
I'm just going to hop around on one foot for the next 6 weeks.
It's not going to make it better. Like, it's not going to make it better at all. It's going to make it worse.
I was reading an article. I think it was Rolling Stone. Anyway, big publication. And they were interviewing Seth Rogen about his new show, The Studio. And they talked. It was fantastic.
It's so good.
It was really, really funny. But they were asking him about his life. And look, that man is kind of the poster boy for, well,
ganja, aka cannabis.
Indeed.
But I thought the way he talked about it was fascinating. He said because he uses it, and him and his friends and everybody that he knows, they use it because it helps their mental well-being.
Sure.
It keeps them locked in. It keeps them sane. And he goes, it's a crutch for sure. But like any other part of our bodies, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, people's feet hurt. So we did something about it.
We made
shoes. But yet when somebody finds something that helps their brain, people have a problem with it.
It's
and
true.
I go, God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a drug. It can be therapy. It
right.
can be talking, whatever. But like, yeah, all of a sudden when you get something that helps your mental, your brain, people have a problem with that.
Yeah, helps you feel semi-normal, able to adapt to society, whatever.
You can't think your way to heal a broken arm.
Correct.
Like if you were just a little mentally stronger,
that was tougher,
your arm would heal. Why do you think you can just think your way to fix head? It takes time to heal. Like anything takes time.
It does.
It takes some work, and eventually, you go through rehab for a pulled muscle or whatever, and then it eventually gets better when you go through the rehab. That's what this is for your brain. You go through a little rehab, then maybe you're feeling good for a while, and then something else happens, and you get a little injury, and you treat it, and you deal with it, and you get some help, and then hopefully you're feeling good again for a while.
Well, it's kind of cool too, because there's a lot of people that are in there that came last time that they're good. They're good. And I want you guys too, because I want some tools. I want to know some tools. I want to know what you're using to not snap at your kids or snap at your wife or be, ungrateful or whatever. Like, what are you doing to get through the day? So I'm looking forward to it, man. I like the fellowship aspect of it. And so many guys out there need some help. So I'm happy to be there. Looking forward to it. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, the Sanctuary at Lost Abbey. Beautiful spot. Thank you again to Tommy from Lost Abbey for generously opening up early and letting us come in and invade his space. It's incredible.
How was the fair yesterday?
So I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go.
Well, again, it was one of those things, man. God bless my wife. I walked in from my workout and I was she looked at me and I looked at her and she goes, hi, babe. I go, hi. And she looked at me and I go, do I have to go to the fair? She goes, no. Just like that. And I said, thank you so much.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much. And so she got the kids, she split, and I was like, so I had a couple hours to myself. It was great. We've been grinding pretty hard this week.
I can't tell you, growing up here, you drive by Del Mar and you see all the lights and the rides, and it makes me kind of feel good, nostalgic. And then the fair starts, and I'm trying to get home from work last night. And did everybody in San Diego go see Foreigner last night? Like every single person in San Diego? Because my God, the 5 was crowded, and I realized it's going to be like this for the next 2 or 3 months, isn't it? San Diego in the summer, the traffic gets really, really bad.
It was urgent that you got home, and you were hot-blooded from sitting in traffic.
I had a member stream. I was trying to get home and go, oh, what's this going to be mad? I'm going to be late.
I was not going to be mad. I don't care.
But I forget every summer, like, okay, yeah. We got to deal with this. I mean, the weather's getting nice, and you're getting happy, and then you look at the 5 and go, oh, yeah, everybody from the rest of the country, all of Arizona is now here. Thank you. Welcome, Arizona, to San Diego for the next 3 months. Welcome, Nevada.
Yeah, good to have you guys here.
12 degrees. It's good to have you.
No, my wife did take the kids with our friend, and the other I found out. But we had dinner last night when they got home, and I said to Bo quietly, I go, hey, did Jackson's dad come? He goes, no. I go, all right, good. So I wasn't like the deadbeat dad that didn't show up. So it was the other dad had to work too. So my work was laying in bed.
Speaking of traffic, little load management underway for Kelly Danek and Vicky Pepper. So we've got for the first time ever, we're dipping into the I don't know if we're calling someone up from the minor leagues or how this works for our traffic report.
I actually don't know what market she's in.
I have no idea. This is new. So we're gonna set the menu for the program after we get a look at the early Friday morning traffic from Sue Eller here on 97.3 The Fan. Take it away, Sue.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is brought to you by Park 101 Multi-Level
Kelly
Sports
Danek.
Bar and Restaurant at the Carlsbad Village.
Did Sue not come
Good
through?
morning. We made it to Friday.
No, we did. It's Kelly. What happened to all the...
I don't know. It's even labeled for June 13th, 6:15 a.m.
What happened to the entire email thread about Kelly's off today, and we've got Vicky's off today, and we've got Sue doing traffic? They went to a lot of trouble, and then that was Kelly. We'll go ahead and play
it, and we'll see if it's accurate.
I already got rid of it.
All right. Well, it sounded like it was Friday morning. She said we got to Friday. It's Friday morning. She's here. She's doing traffic.
Right, so Paulie's he's digging deep.
Reload it.
Reload.
Let's try. I was excited. I was intrigued.
Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is brought to you by Park 101 Multi-Level Sports Bar and Restaurant at the Carlsbad Village. Good morning. We made it to Friday, and things are looking nice and quiet on our roads so far. A little patchy fog in various parts, but doesn't seem to be really causing any problems. Park 101 Sports Bar and Restaurant in Carlsbad. Catch the game with your fellow faithful this weekend as we take on Arizona while sipping 22 ounces of Estrella Jalisco out of a souvenir bat. Park 101, Carlsbad Village. Proud sponsor of the Padres Radio Network. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Smooth as silk.
So is this like a Bob Melvin Juan Soto situation? Like Bob's like, you got to take a day off, and
She's like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
I can explain this.
Okay.
I'll wear it, I suppose, a little bit. The original email does say I'm taking the afternoon.
Got it. Morning. She's posting in the morning.
However, I don't know why I was like only the only one on there. Like when Adam
You're like, great,
up,
thanks for telling me.
but he probably wondered if I had like some production files or something. But I figured when he replied to Kelly and only added me on there, I'm like, oh, she's off in the morning, obviously.
Obviously. Well, today is also Friday the 13th, Benjamin. So spooky things abound. Hopefully not in Arizona. Hopefully everything goes according to plan.
Well, it's also Friday the 13th for the Diamondbacks.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
And everybody else.
And everybody else.
On planet Earth.
Do you get nervous on Friday the 13th? No. Did you like the movies when you were a kid?
I think I may have seen 2 of them.
Was that?
I wasn't big on going to all the horror movies.
Was that Jason Voorhees that was in Friday the 13th?
Jason, yeah.
And then Halloween was Michael Myers. Which one was scarier? Michael Myers for me.
I think so.
Escape mental patient. I'm like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Hockey mask.
Hockey mask.
Yeah.
No, that was Friday the 13th.
That was Friday the 13th.
He had that white, terrifying. Michael Myers had the white, terrifying mask. But yeah, Friday the 13th. I'll be honest with you. I liked the movies when I was a kid because there were boobs in it. And I knew I could watch it, be scared. And also there were boobs in, I think, almost every one.
That became a thing with
In
like
horror
horror movies.
Hey, you know what? This is a pretty scary place.
Before we chop her head off.
Hang on, real quick. This is a really scary lake house we're in. What do you say we go out in the middle of the woods in the dark and make out? Just out in the middle. It's midnight. Let's go out into the middle of the woods and we'll make out. You take your top off and we'll
see what happens.
See what happens out there in the middle of the night. This is already scary. We're already seeing a couple of things that are creepy out here. Let's go ahead and get out to the leaves.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. Take your top off and we'll get after it right here. Hopefully nobody comes and murders us and hacks us in half. And that's exactly what happened on those movies. My parents did. I'd have to watch them at friends' house because they didn't really like horror movies either. Thank God, because you guys keeping me from those horror movies really led me to a nice, easy life, free of anything. But it was, I loved those movies because, well, that reason.
I think parents keep the kids from horror movies for selfish reasons.
Yeah, because they don't want them up and scared in the middle of the night.
And
can I sleep with you?
Exactly.
And I can't sleep at nightmare. That's exactly right. It's not for the kids. It's for you.
It's for
Be
you.
honest
it's
about
for
it.
you. You don't want to be disturbed at 1 a.m. when
you're right.
Your kid's having a panic attack
That's
after his bad dream.
That's exactly right.
All right, here's what we got coming up on a FRIAR Friday, although our first guest is a non-FRIAR guest. Darren Smith's going to check in. The SDFC squad gets back to MLS play tomorrow at Minnesota. Haven't really gotten an update so far this week, so Darren will let us know what's going on injury-wise, lineup-wise.
I want to ask him about U.S. men's national team because I know he's got some thoughts there.
Disastrous.
He's got to be losing his mind.
Yep. And then Mike Shildt, the skipper, will join us at 9 o'clock on a FRIAR Friday. We'll rehash the Dodgers series, get you ready for the Diamondbacks this weekend, and of course another 4 games against the Dodgers.
Well, there was something we were going to ask him. His favorite rom-com.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Or just his favorite movie.
What do you think his favorite movie is? Like even genre. Like, is he
He likes The Natural.
I was gonna say
he likes Training Day.
The Hunt for Red October.
The Hunt for Red October. Crimson Tide. Loves it.
I think so.
Loves Crimson Tide.
Like, there's gonna be some Clint Eastwood in there.
100%. I like Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Y'all ever seen Dirty Harry?
Yeah. All right. This is the kind of interview I want to do with him. I just want to ask him about all the stuff he likes so I can get to know him better. But people will get mad if I do that.
Then it's been
who's his favorite left fielder? CR said.
It's been since last season, I think, but we're going to welcome back a friend. He was a weekly or bi-weekly guest last year. Jordan Shusterman is going to be with us. We'll talk some baseball at 9:35. Paulie tried to get him to come on early, but he didn't want to come on that early.
He's moving.
He's moving.
He's going to carve out some time for us.
That's nice of him.
He goes, yeah, the Wi-Fi is not getting connected until later in the day, so I can do a phone call. I can't do Zoom. I was like, dude, no problem.
No worries.
Brandon,
be fun to catch up with him.
Brandon in the chat said, hey, Shilty, who's your favorite person to talk to on the bench? Must be Camposano. That would be a really roundabout way of asking Shilty, what's the plan with Campy?
I don't know if that's more of an AJ question at this point, honestly, than a Shilty question. But those are our guests. We'll move the Reindl Report up to 8:30 since we have 2 guests in our 9 o'clock hour. Regular features as well, including Don't Do This and Take on Woods coming up at 8:20 this morning. That will be one of our giveaways, chance to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas. We also have more Padres tickets and more George Lopez tickets to give away. We finally reached Friday. Kelly's still working. We're good. It's Ben and Woods. We'll come back and we'll take a look ahead what the Padres are going to have to do to manage their way through another stretch of 13 games in 13 days, Woods, that starts today. Just finished one. Let's start another one tonight in Arizona. We'll get into that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But on this Father's Day weekend, how about, or, a lot of graduations going on right now. You can celebrate dads and grads. How about a new car, a new truck? I've always dreamed of walking out to the driveway, and there's the dream, right? The brand new truck out there with a big bow on it. Celebrate dads and grads all month long with my friends over at Manny Sedano Ford in La Mesa, just 15 minutes from wherever you are. These June offers are the real deal. The Ford F-150 STX Super Crew Cab, powerful, dependable, ready for anything, $299 a month. And for the hardworking grads out there, the Ford Bronco Big Ben, just $271 a month, or go all electric with the 2024 Mustang Mach-E Select. All style, no gas, just $157 a month. Support San Diego, support local. Visit Sedano Ford in La Mesa, one of San Diego's largest inventories, or start online at sedanoford.com. Don't forget to tell them Woodsy sent you over. More details on these offers can be found at sedanoford.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
Our Odyssey colleague Pat Boyle taking some shots at Aztec JJ Spawn.
Oh, you mean Dodger lover JJ
I saw that
Spawn?
yesterday too.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
His yardage book has a little Dodgers cover. Now he grew up up in Corona,
San Dimas.
San Dimas, yeah, up in the Inland Empire area of Los Angeles, and then came down to San Diego State. Made a good decision to get out of there and come down to San Diego, but never gave up his Dodger ties to become a Padres fan.
He's what we call an Aztec for 4 years instead of Aztec for life.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Like you came here and you gave your all for San Diego State. That's awesome. And then to see him, Ben was talking about him yesterday. Oh, it's really cool. And then I saw one of the Dodger reporters. Oh, here's Dodger fan JJ Spawn. I go, oh, hope you get the 8 on the next hole, pal.
They're out there for sure.
Max Homa, huge Dodger honk as well. So
JJ, you do a great job.
Yeah, JJ, you do a great job.
He'll tee off at 9:52 this morning. There's only 7 players left who are still under par, and probably that number will keep going down as the day goes on. Brooks Koepka, 2 back at 2 under. He's through 7 holes this morning.
That dude loves a U.S. Open.
He does love a
My
US
God,
Open.
he loves U.S. Open.
He is. He's built for the U.S.
He
Open.
really is.
Victor Hovland, 1 under, 2 under today. He's got under par. Colin Morikawa's even. John Rahm is at even after a 1-over start through his first 5 holes today. So quick U.S. Open update. What did you think of the roundtable yesterday? I know you're mad when I save a couple of topics for the roundtable. We talked a little bit about the Dodger fan invasion. I don't think there was a big deal, that Padres fans show up when they need to show up. And if every once in a while the Dodgers represent down at Petco Park,
I mean, I would want
it's going to happen.
I would want to come to Petco Park too if I was a Dodger
I
fan.
thought
I would.
I thought Paulie made a great point when we were talking about it, that the culture is shifting, but it takes time now.
Yeah.
Now everyone is indoctrinated into being a Padres fan, but they weren't 20, 30 years ago. You're Southern California, Dodgers just owned kind of the whole market. And unless you were a really, came from a Padres fan family like I did, you gravitated toward the Dodgers, but now everyone's gravitating toward the Padres. But it takes a generation now to really kick it into high gear.
Well, I mean, think about the Dodgers in the, after they won the World Series in '88. They were bad. They were bad for a long time, and that stadium didn't sell out. There wasn't people beating their chest. When they started filling up Dodger Stadium again and getting mouthy? When they started to win again, when they started to win division titles, and that'll do it. And if it happens here, there's you absolutely. And now what they've done in Japan, very smart. They own the whole country of Japan as far as baseball goes, and that's a smart marketing play. And obviously they got great players from there too. It's not like these guys are scrubs in Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani, certainly. But they're a global brand, certainly. And the Padres, we've all said it in the last, we're going to go to Philly together here in a couple weeks. You can rest assured, you're not only going to see Padre fans that traveled, you're going to see Philly fans that love Jackson Merrill and love the kids, love Fernando Tatis Jr. And so, it just takes time. And most importantly, it takes winning. You got to win. People are front runners, they just are. That's how it goes. Your team starts winning. You start you wanting to support them more. The diehards like you, Ben, that grew up here, and you had your couple of guys that you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to go watch Tony. I'm going to go watch Trevor. I'm going to go watch Khalil Green. I'm going to go watch Ken Caminiti. And you had some good teams in that time too. Couple sprinkled in.
Yeah, they were too few and far between to really build a diehard fan base.
It wasn't as consistent as the Dodgers have been in the last few years. So, it makes sense to me. It didn't bug me at all. The Shohei effect too. I mean, I was there with Bo on Wednesday. A huge Japanese contingent of fans that were just giddy. And that actually weirdly made me happy. Like, I saw these little kids getting excited to see the kids right behind me. They were little. They're like Bo's age. And dude, when he walked out on deck, Mom, it's Shohei. I'm like, all right, little turd. But, I get it. So, yeah, the Dodgers weren't great for a while. And they had to build it back up. They went bankrupt. They got bailed out by Major League Baseball. Things are working out well for them now. But, if the Padres stay like this, like Jesse Agler calls it, the golden era of Padres baseball, he's right. I mean, as frustrating as they are and as many holes as we have, this has been awesome to cover. I mean, it's been incredible to cover.
Yeah, because as pointed out, when you go to school like Jersey Day, that everyone's wearing Padres now. So as those kids start getting older and have families of their own, they're going to create more Padres fans in the decades to come. And we didn't really have that pipeline going as much, over the past 30 years or so.
It's crazy how it works out though, like generationally, because you got to think about people that are having, young adults that are having kids like in their early 30s to late 30s, even in the early 40s. Like, what were the Padres doing when they were kids? Because that's kind of how it's going to develop your fanhood for life, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The formative years.
Like,
that's right.
People in 20 years that are young kids now, growing up watching this era of Padres baseball, they're going to raise Padres fans.
Yeah, I mean, think about if you're, you live in Denver and you have a kid and he's 4 and he loves baseball and he's watching the Rockies and you're a Rockies fan because you grew up there too. I mean, who's he fired up about? Who's the guy that's getting down? I want to go see Ryan McMahon play. No, I mean, you need stars on your team. Not only do you need stars, they have to be interesting. They have to be in the news. They have to win games. It's really important. So, credit where credit is due.
You also have to capitalize on that because the Giants won 3 World Series titles and had a number of big stars, during that era on their pitching staff, Buster Posey. But now they don't really have those stars that are driving. And they're starting to see, I think, a little bit more of a struggle with attendance. Obviously, they've got a decent team, but I don't feel like they were able to keep that momentum going from the early 2010s when they were so good. They haven't been bad necessarily since then.
It's weird to see Oracle Park not totally full.
Right. You can lose it as well. And that's an important lesson, I think, for, Padres ownership. Like, yeah, it's going great now, and you can keep investing in the team. You can't just stop all of a sudden, though, and expect the fan base to just ride with you for, 10 bleak years until they turn it around. You can get away with an off year or two here or there, but you need to keep the pipeline of fun players, stars, and, winning competitive teams going for the most part if you want to keep this rolling. The other conversation we had was about Randy Vasquez, and that one turned out pretty interesting as well.
It got a little spicy there.
I suggested, is this a good time for AJ Preller to perhaps approach Randy Vasquez about a contract extension? Before he gets really expensive, he got 2 years of team control left, but you don't have any pitchers other than Yu Darvish, who's going to be in his 40s, locked up beyond the 2027 season, which is not that far away. We're in 2025 here. There's a big uncertainty about where the Padres are going to get their starting pitching going forward. Nick Pivetta can opt out after next year. Obviously, Dylan Cease, Michael King are both free agents after this year. Where are you going to get your starting pitching? Joe Musgrove is a free agent after 2027. Where is that starting pitching coming from? And who do you believe in? Randy Vasquez, Ryan Bergert, Stephen Kolek, that you feel like could be at least a member of your starting rotation toward the end of this decade rather than right here and right now?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, certainly. And I think, that was fine. And I think, anytime you can lock up starting pitchers and you think you can get a good deal, because the number you threw out there, Benny, I was like, I think he laughs. I think he scoffs at $6 million a year for a starting pitcher in the big leagues, a reliable one at that, reliable in that he takes the ball and.
Well, I think he will if you let him get to the end of the season and he makes every start.
Yeah.
And, puts up a 3.8 ERA.
Yeah, or even a 4.1 ERA.
Then you're not going to get him. But right now, when he's only been kind of a part member of the starting rotation for, maybe one season here, you could think about a more team-friendly deal at this moment. But you're also taking a big risk. Is Randy Vasquez someone who's going to continue to improve?
Is $6 million a year even a big risk in baseball? But I think that number's way off. I don't know really what the comp would be for him. But I know starting pitchers get paid. That's one thing I do know. You got guys making a ton of cash out there that are reliable starting pitchers. They're 3s, they're 4s, they're 5s.
He's making the minimum right now. 772, 800 or close to the minimum.
Crazy. So he's going to want to get paid.
He'll get a raise. I mean, he's still pre-ARB actually for the next couple of years. So
there's no need to do that right now.
You don't have to do it right away, but you could think about doing something that was team friendly if you thought that he is. It was more.
Is he part of the future?
It was more of a jumping off point. Do you see him as part of the future for the San Diego Padres pitching rotation? Because it's time to start identifying who is part of that future pitching, because you can't just buy a rotation anymore unless you're the Dodgers or the Yankees, and even those teams. That's a risky strategy to go, we're going 5 free agents in pitching, because when pitchers get to free agency, they're so expensive, and you get a Corbin Burns situation, and all of a sudden you're paying for nothing for almost 2 years because they get hurt. You have to, more than position players, which you can buy and you can rent for a year. Pitching, you have to develop.
Yeah, man.
And Padres don't have a lot of it right now in the system, pitching-wise.
They had 3 guys yesterday that started in the minor leagues. I think they all struck out 10 or more. So they're working on it, right? The Braden Nets and the got Burgerts come up through that. Like there's guys down there that are pitching well. But yeah, it obviously if you can get controllable cheap pitching over the other way you got to go to is maybe the more expensive AAV but shorter contracts. Getting locked into these long-term deals on pitching is tough, and it scares the crap out of some teams.
I thought about that during the roundtable yesterday when Ben was kind of setting up the question. He didn't give any terms of an example contract yet, but in my head I'm looking at our chat. East County Chris says, am I the only one who doesn't really like signing pitchers to long-term deals anymore? They just get hurt. And I thought the exact same thing. My initial reaction was like, I'm kind of sick of anything more than like a 3-year contract for pitchers right now.
Yeah.
But then when you throw out 4 for 24, I'm like, well, yeah, I'd sign up for that.
It's if you could get, and somebody in the chat said Wandy makes $4 million a year. No way Randy's making 6. It's a very good point you make.
Yep.
It's a tough one. So
yeah.
He's done.
Don't they have about the same ERA?
One's a starter.
Well, yeah, but
one's a starter. One is takes the ball every 5th day in the rotation. And again, I Randy Vasquez has been very, very serviceable, very, very serviceable. Done everything they've asked him to do. So I don't know, man. I like if you can get a good deal on a pitcher that's durable. Great. You got to do it. You got to do it every time. But you're right. They do. As I said on the roundtable, we are all the fans too. We're under the luxury of being able to.
You've got control over Randy for a while, so it's not urgent. I'm just saying you need to start identifying pitchers who are going to be in your rotation after the next couple of years.
Well, yeah, or the next couple of years. And we're under the luxury of being able to watch every game, and we need to win tonight. They have to be thinking 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. What's that look like? So, yeah, man, I think you have to look at options like that.
All right, here we go into another Padres series with the back end of the rotation starting today and tomorrow in Arizona. We'll take a look ahead at what the Padres are facing in Phoenix after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Eliminate Termite, the orange oil experts. Definitely pays to get an early start, guys. There's just not much going on our roads right now. Everything is full blast out of the South Bay, looking good out of the East County. No delays coming down from the North County. So, yeah, put that coffee into a travel cup. Get out there and enjoy it. But even though it feels like you might have the whole place to yourself, we still encourage you to keep your speeds down. Be extra alert. Have termites? Eliminate Termite inspects, treats, and repairs termite damage, all with a full structural warranty. Their orange oil treatment is safe for people, pets, and the planet. No tent, no move out. Protect your home naturally. Schedule a free inspection at eliminatetermite.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I did like, I respected Chris Ello's point, saying, no, I don't want to extend a guy that is only going to be a 4 2/3 inning guy. And, I do think that was the game against the Dodgers. Again, I think it's weighted a little bit differently. Not that it means more than one win if you win, but it does, Ben. They have the dirtiest lineup. Like, I had no problem with Mike Shildt going to Adrian Morejon there after 4 2/3 from Randy. You did your job there, more than did your job. Kept us right there, 1-1 game. Had no problem with it. I did hear a couple of takes of like, man, Randy needs to be out there for another 40 pitches. Against that lineup, Randy needs to earn that. The third time through the lineup hits 370 off of him. So if you want that, you're going to have to earn that opportunity to be able to go deeper into games. And,
he was throwing well until that pitch to Conforto. He was throwing well. He was even getting some swing and miss, and got a couple past Shohei Ohtani. He was looking good.
It was driving Dodger fans crazy on Twitter. They were going nuts. Like, this guy is like the worst metrics in baseball, and we can't hit him. He had them a little bit out in front, and he had them a little bit behind. He was mixing his pitches really well. But again, if I'm Shildt and I've got a rested bullpen and a day off, 100% I'm going to be aggressive there.
So here we go again. First 2 games against Arizona tonight and tomorrow. And you've got Stephen Kolek and Ryan Burgert on the mound. And really, you haven't gotten a bad start from either one of them. Kolek had the one where he gave up 6 in the first, but battled back and got the win that game. So it's hard to call that a bad start. Otherwise they have kept you in games. They've pitched in some wins. They've gotten the job done as your 4 and 5. 2 guys that had no idea if they were going to be contributors to the San Diego Padres this year. Kolek had a good spring, didn't make the starting rotation, but you saw some promise there. Burgert, was not really totally on my radar at the beginning of the year, but he's been the one that stepped up and has provided incredibly valuable innings and appearances here the last couple of times through the rotation for the San Diego Padres. How many times how many times can you keep that wheel going without the bottom falling out with the back of your rotation?
Can't every team say that? Almost every team. No, every team. Can't every team say, man, I feel like we're
playing
just
with fire.
We're gutting it out. We're playing with fire. I think every team in baseball looks at it and goes, geez, man, I'm crossing my fingers that our 3-4-5 or our 4-5 or our 5, gets it done tonight. But right now, man, Ryan Burgert has been really, really good in his very limited action with the San Diego Padres, Benny. And, until he's earned the right to grab another start or two until one of these guys comes back off the IL, if that ever happens. So, I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to watch Kolek pitch. I feel like he's learning, getting better. So yeah, this is a good lineup they're going to be facing. They score a lot of runs. They hit home runs. It's going to be a tough one.
So Kolek is making his 8th start tonight of the season. In 4 of them already, he has not given up a run. That's more than half of his starts. He has not given up a run. Now, he had a little stretch there where it was a little rougher against the Mariners, the Blue Jays, and that game against the Marlins that they came back and won. But outside of that 3-game stretch, he, first 2, no runs, last 2, no runs allowed by Stephen Kolek.
Good.
So, they'll be asking a lot. His ERA is now 3. He's 3-1 with a 3 ERA. Not a team in baseball that wouldn't take that out of their
heartbeat,
number 4 or 5 starter at the back end of the rotation. Not a friendly pitching environment at Chase Field tonight, and the Arizona Diamondbacks, another good offensive team that the Padres are going up against. Their path to victory is to kind of bludgeon you to death with their deep lineup, and they've got guys who have hit for power this season. Their pitching has been the big sticking point with not only the Burns injury, but the Zach Gallen has not been pitching the way Cy Young type pitchers, you expect them to throw. Merrill Kelly's been pretty good. He's going on Sunday. Gallen is going tomorrow. You got Ryan Nelson today, though. But Padres have had trouble with all sorts of Arizona Diamondbacks pitchers, and in that building in particular, over the years, it's not been the friendliest place for the Padres.
Yeah, where the Padres are really good at preventing runs, not so good at scoring runs. Padres have scored 279 runs, but they've allowed 255. Diamondbacks have scored 346 runs this year. I'm sorry. Yeah, 346 runs. They've allowed 350. So not great defense, not great pitching. Lines up okay for the Pods. Again, what are we expecting?
But can they outslug a team?
Correct.
You haven't really seen.
They can. If you limit the slugging team to not slugging and play your defense and play your way of baseball, look, they've been winning games they've been scratching out wins. I don't expect them to come in and club the starting pitchers for the Diamondbacks to death. The bullpen, they can get to, absolutely. But our guys have been good at preventing runs. So you just hope that trend continues because you got the Dodgers after that. So
you're not going to see, 1-0, 2-0, though, likely over the next 3 days at Chase Field.
I wouldn't guess you would, but then again, could be 1-0 tonight. You have no idea.
I mean, baseball's baseball, so it's unexpected. But that would shock me. Arizona's going to find a way to put some runs on the board. Can the Padres find a way to win a 6-4 game occasionally? Yeah. Because they haven't been winning those. They won an 11-0 game, but when they won close, it's been 2-0 and 3-2 and 3-0. When they win, they lose those games where it seems like 8-7 against the Dodgers earlier this week. All right, we'll come back. Padres did get some unexpected help in the NL West last night. We'll talk more baseball, get you ready for hour number 2 ahead here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away.
This is the darkest studio in on the planet. And I don't mean light. This is the heaviest subjects going on in here right now. Need to cleanse it. I need some sage, something. It's very heavy. It's Friday. My God.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. That's true.
Yeah.
These are Monday talks or Tuesday talks. All right. Reset it. Ha 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 ha.
Fun on Friday. It's fun. We're all in a great mood.
I need something. Funny.
It's about 5 minutes of death
and plane crashes. All right. I'm over it.
Yeah.
How do we get back?
Well, we can laugh at the San Francisco Giants, who lost for the second time this season to the Colorado Rockies. Seems like a lot.
The second time. We only lost once.
We've only lost once. They've lost now twice. They nearly
lost
all three.
Was that a 4-game? No, they won 2 or 3, I thought.
They did, but they had to come from behind at the end in both the first 2 games.
But those count as wins.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have easily lost all 3
But you said they lost twice.
No, well, they lost in the first series.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, this is the second series they played. They lost their first game. Then I believe they won 5 in a row, and now they lost their most recent game on a walk-off. The first walk-off win of the season for the Colorado Rockies. Orlando Arcia capped a 3-run 9th inning with a walk-off 2-run single off Randy Rodriguez. Remember how nasty he was against the Padres, but he got some deep counts, walked a couple of guys. His pitch count was climbing up above 40, and Bob Melvin left him in to try to get the save. They were still up by 1, couldn't get it done, and Colorado's win actually prevented the Giants from moving into a first-place tie with the Dodgers in the NL West. So as we head into this weekend with the Padres going to Arizona and the Giants going to be facing the Dodgers for 3 games, you now have the Dodgers in first place, 1 game ahead of the Giants and 2 games ahead of the San Diego Padres. So you still have a very, very tight top of the division in the NL West after the Giants did take 2 out of 3, but did not sweep the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly relate to that, not sweeping the Colorado Rockies. You know, those are the ones you hope don't come back to bite you at the end. But
we did say everyone's going to lose probably 1 or 2 at some point to the Rockies. You just want to minimize it.
Of course. The NL West continues to be just absolutely insane. Everyone kind of hovering around. We got to handle business against the Snakes because we got the Dodgers next. So 7-game road trip coming up for the Pods. You know, somebody asked in the chat, you take 4 and 3? Yes, 100%. I mean, I would do dirty things for a 4 and 3 road trip on this. It's funny too, because I know we are all in panic land a lot. I get it. I kind of live there sometimes too. Got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Saw a Dodger fan yesterday tweeting out, "Hey man, the Dodgers are 10-9 in their last 19. Everyone in the West is just just treading water. They're just trying to stay afloat. You'd sign up for 10-9 if you're a Padres fan right now. I feel like, you know, the expectations for the Dodgers, look, at the end of the day, the expectations shift, right? 125 games, they're never going to do that. They don't stay healthy enough to do it. They don't want to stay healthy enough to do it. They're not going to chase it. They just want to get to the dance and have guys healthy when they get there. So yeah, 10-9 for the Dodgers in their last 19.
The Giants had won 7 in a row until yesterday, but 6 of them were 1-run wins.
Right.
Could have gone either way.
How about the Cardinals, another team that we're going to be duking it out with for the wild card?
They've lost 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
They were the hottest team, and now all of a sudden they're not. They were shut out by the Brewers yesterday, 6-0, and there's been, I don't want to say some separation, but the Brewers actually passed them in the wild card standings. So you got the Giants, Phillies, and Padres all with 29 losses, all within a game of each other. Those are your 3 wild card positions right now in the National League. Then you go another 2.5 games back, and it's the Brewers, Cardinals 3 games back, Reds 4, Diamondbacks 4.5. So you have that next group of 4 teams, and right now those are pretty much your contenders, because then it's another 4 games back to the Nationals and the Braves, and they're double digits, almost under 500 at this point. So unless they go on a huge run, they're not really in the mix at the moment. So you got the top 3, and then you got the next 4 who are all looking to, make a push to get up toward the top. But there is a little bit, at least, of separation here. Much too early to say that, and none of those teams are really out of it at this point. We're still in June, but you are starting to see a couple of teams who look more like playoff contenders than other teams. Now, can the Brewers and Cardinals and Reds and Diamondbacks with their pitching injuries, do you think any of those teams are legitimate playoff contenders the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Which ones?
I think the Diamondbacks are.
Even without Zach Gallen. I mean, even without Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I would have said 3 days ago, probably not. And then they went and swept the Seattle Mariners and got back to 500.
Yeah.
And now I'm scratching my head again.
I think until they're not, they are. This is pretty nuts. A little breaking news in Major League Baseball. So I don't know if you guys saw the story yesterday. Aaron Savale, who was a starter for the Milwaukee Brewers, was asked to move to the bullpen by skipper Pat Murphy. And he said no. He said, I don't want to go to the bullpen. I'm a starter. I'm coming up to where I can actually make some money. Moving me to the bullpen is going to hurt my value moving forward. And actually, he'd been a decent starter for the Brewers since they acquired him. They called up this prospect that started last night, Jacob Misiorowski, who's disgusting. 102-mile-an-hour heater, ridiculous slider. I think he was at 5 no-hit innings until he hurt his ankle. They had to pull him out in his first start. He's filthy. He's their top prospect. Here's what's interesting. Savale requests a trade because he doesn't want to pitch in the bullpen. They honor his trade today. They just traded him to the Chicago White Sox.
That feels more like a sentence than a trade.
But now, Misiorowski may be hurt. Savale would have been right back in the rotation.
Oh, my God.
Be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you wish for. He's now.
Is that's the guy I saw? I think John Boy or somebody on
Big,
Instagram.
tall.
They posted a graphic and it was like "Happy Birthday." Like the team posted
Savale,
"Happy Birthday,"
yeah.
and then there was another screenshot and it was like Savale has requested a trade like an hour later.
So now they've got plenty of starting pitchers. They do, and so he did not. They have Woodruff coming back, Nestor Cortez coming back, but he probably would have been right back in the rotation if this kid is out for any amount of time. Katie Wu reported that it was cramping, but I watched him step off the mound and like he was kind of hopping after a pitch, like, just like he was amped up or whatever. And he landed on his right ankle and rolled it. And it looked so watching somebody roll their ankle is the worst. And then they came and took him out of the game. So I don't know if the cramp caused him to do that or if he really was cramping or if his ankle is snapped in half. I have no idea. But
if you're the Brewers and you're once again outperforming expectations on a tiny payroll and hanging around, isn't that maybe the most important team that you keep the vibes like where they need to be? And to have a guy who's malcontent, who's not happy, who's complaining about his role, they acted quickly to move on from him.
But here's the thing: they also said. They said the conversations, they made it a point to say the conversations were very, very professional. This was not a thing where I guess the guy was huffing and puffing and beating up Gatorade coolers. He went in and said, look, this is my logic and my reasoning for this. You're going to diminish my value by moving me to the bullpen. I've been good for you guys. They said it was really professional and kind of above board, but it doesn't happen a lot in baseball. It's not something you hear of. You hear it a lot in football. You hear it a lot in basketball. You don't hear a lot of guys demanding a trade, and they honored him. And I do think there's a part of it. I just listened to Pat Murphy on Eric Hosmer's podcast. There's a culture there. And if you're not bought into the culture, and the culture is, you kind of do what we ask you to do, they honored his request, and they sent him to Chicago.
I'm torn because as much as we want to think that this is all about a team game and you can't win without, a certain aspect of coming together. We saw what happened with the Padres when they didn't really have it a couple of years ago. Each of these guys are really independent contractors.
No question about it.
They don't get paid because the other guys win. You can win a World Series, but if you didn't do much for the team, you're not going to cash in on that. They're going to look at your individual numbers more than anything else. Now, playing for a winning team, being a good culture, a glue guy might be the tie-breaking difference, when you're going on the market, like, maybe I'll get a few dollars more and get to pick my team because I've got a good reputation. But you're not going from a $1 million guy to a $15 million guy because you were a good glue guy on a World Series team. If you're not producing,
you got to produce.
That's how you get the money. And Savale has a good point. If he's not starting, he can't produce in the way that he needs to get the kind of contract that he would be looking for.
But you do wonder now. Okay, you have to. You got what you asked for. Now you're not on a contending team anymore. And now you're going to Chicago. You're still pitching for a contract. You're still going to be a free agent after the year. Just go in and do your job, get your work in, and try to get paid and make some more money and go sign somewhere where you feel like they want you and they're going to give you a little bit more money. I totally understand that perspective. I would rather pitch for the Brewers in the bullpen than be a starter for the White Sox, me personally, right? I'd rather, all right, whatever you guys need, we'll do it. But I'm not in his shoes. I don't know his situation.
It's surprising, though, that, I mean, the White Sox, who are going nowhere, would, I mean, they need pitching just like everybody else does. But with so many teams, I mean, the Padres, need pitching depth. The Tigers just lost Jackson Jobe for the season with Tommy John surgery. The Dodgers clearly, need starting pitching. So many contending teams that need pitchers.
They could trade him again, though. They could trade him at the deadline.
They could flip him.
He comes in and pitches well, and he could get traded at the deadline. And maybe end up being a decent move. They needed to give him nobody. Get a guy like Savale, maybe get somebody a little bit better.
The Mets lost Kodai Senga yesterday to a hamstring strain injury. They already put him on the IL.
Yeah, it looked pretty serious.
Yeah, they already put him on the IL. He pitched 5 innings, and they're hot. They won 16 of their last 20 games, beat the Nationals, held on by the skin of their teeth for a 4-3 win. But the Mets, who got to the NLCS last year, are starting to look like perhaps the class of the National League at the moment. We thought it was going to be the Dodgers. At some point, it probably will be once they get healthy. But at the moment, kind of it's the Mets and the Cubs who have been the class of the National League at this point.
Yeah. Check the standings. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, Pete Alonso has had an MVP quality season for a guy that, remember, had trouble getting a contract and they
didn't want to pay him.
Had to settle to come back to the Mets on far less than he was looking to get elsewhere. He's going to have the last laugh because he can opt out right after this year.
I think so.
And, if he continues to put up numbers like this, he will end up a big winner in this equation with what he's doing for the Mets right now.
I'm looking at the overall league standings, and the Mets are the best team in baseball. They lead the Tigers by half a game. God, the Tigers have been really, really good this year.
Tarek Skubal pitched his ass off.
They've been fun to watch
last
too.
night. They're such a fun, solid team.
It's still a very much National League dominant top, 10 or whatever.
Bro,
in Major League Baseball. You got the Tigers and the Yankees have the second and third best records in all of baseball, but it's Mets. And then the 2 American League teams, and then Cubs, Dodgers, Giants, Phillies, Padres.
Bro, Brewers hanging around, Cardinals hanging around, the Reds are hanging around. They're a game over 500 right now. I mean, it's Diamondbacks are 34-34, fourth in the division, a 500 team. Everyone's hanging around. It's going to be an all-out war. The rest of the season. The East is, they got 2 teams coming out of there. I don't know that the Braves are going to be able to right the ship. 29-38 right now. They're 2-8 in their last 10, Benny. They got to figure it out. They're talking about maybe potentially moving Chris Sale at the deadline, which will net them quite a haul from a team that needs starting pitching. I think they're listening. If they don't turn it around very, very soon, they absolutely will be sellers, which would be nuts.
Couple of other finals from yesterday. Cubs did win again, 3-2 over the Pirates. Got home runs from Seiya Suzuki and Pete Crow Armstrong. He's having an all-star year. The Yankees actually kind of did the old punt lineup. No Judge. They decided to give some of their regulars a day off. They won anyway. 1-0 over the Kansas City Royals, who will, by the way, be at Petco Park. We're going to have some tickets to give away for the Padres Royals series, another pair later in the show. But they got Bobby Witt Jr. and, they're a fun team to go watch if you're looking for some games to go see play. Royals aren't a bad opponent to go check out. You only get to see them every other year, so they'll be here next weekend in San Diego. Astros beat the White Sox 4-3. Rangers, they're a weird team. They scored 16 in 2 of their last 3 games, but pretty much all the other games they don't score at all. But they beat the Twins 16-3, hit 6 home runs, so Brett Boone is a genius one day and an idiot the next day as the hitting coach for the Texas Rangers.
Clip him saying Brett Boone is an idiot. We'll just piece it together.
Doesn't quite work. And then the Tigers beat the Orioles 4-1 as they continue to roll. But as I mentioned, Jackson Jobe ruled out for the season. Tommy John surgery. That's a blow for sure.
Big time.
They'll still have Tarek Skubal, obviously, but they were counting on hopefully getting Joe back at some point, and now obviously that's not going to happen the rest of the way. Mentioned the Padres giveaway. Let's give away, though. We got some tickets to George Lopez. I know I'm difficult to buy for as a dad for Father's Day. Hey, win some tickets. Give your dad tickets to a comedy show for Father's Day. We're going to give away a pair right now. If you want to be the fifth caller at 833-288-0973, start dialing. George Lopez coming to the San Diego Civic Theater on June 21st. If you don't win them, 833-288-0973. You can get your own tickets at Ticketmaster.com, courtesy of Outback Presents, our final pair this week of George Lopez tickets to give away. We have Don't Do This is coming up in our next segment.
Well, we've got one of our Mount Rushmore Don't Do This people.
Hall of Famer,
100% also.
I think they named the Hall of Fame, the DDT Hall of Fame for him.
Might be.
No doubt. And a baseball prank that had me laughing.
Little visual,
but I can explain.
Woodsy's going to enjoy this. We'll get to that all coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before traffic, though, talk about SDFatLoss.com. Summer is here, and SDFatLoss.com actually reached out, and they wanted to make sure that I let everybody know that even though you think you're not going to want to lose weight over the summer, they make it quite possible. I lost my weight during the middle of summer. In fact, went on vacation, like a huge barbecue eating vacation, and I still, at the end of the 2 months, I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. They know how to manage you around an occasional cheat day, an occasional, got to have your summer fun, and still lose weight consistently on their program. It's doctor developed, it's counselor. They follow you along. They give you so much support, and it's based on eating real food. So yeah, you can go to a barbecue and still have some chicken here, have some grilled veggies there, still have a pretty good time and lose that weight consistently with no injections, no hormones, and no exercise necessary. Find out how by getting a free consultation. Just go online, set it up at SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. Find out how you can lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight over the summer. And by the way, it won't even be done. Summer won't even be close to over by the time you are done losing the weight in 2 months. Check them out today. Go to SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Of guests coming on up here on a Friday on Ben & Woods. Jordan Shusterman in our final hour. Mike Shildt, the manager's report at 9 o'clock. And Darren Smith going to join us, talk a little SDFC and more in just a few minutes. First, though, we'll get to Don't Do This. It is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. What's?
I'll get us started. I thought this story... I thought this one had gone away, but it has resurfaced. Of course, the terribly sad story of former Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, who passed away of an accidental overdose in 2019. Well, Wade Miley's name has been brought up in court documents recently, Ben. His agent, Ryan Hamill, said in a deposition that Tyler Skaggs told him he was using pain pills containing oxycodone that were provided by Miley at the time. Remember, Matt Harvey was also named. He actually testified. This is not the first time his name has come up, though, in this. He is not facing criminal charges, though, at this point. But, again, top headline, actually, on ESPN right now is in the baseball section. I don't know what's going to happen to Wade Miley. He is still currently pitching. He signed a one-year deal with the Reds on June 4th. He's made 2 starts this season. Again, this case, man, is 6 years old, at this point. And I don't know if anything's going to happen to him or not. But again, his name continues to be brought up as somebody that provided pills to Tyler Skaggs before his death.
Right. And I don't think he's being accused of necessarily being a drug dealer.
No.
I mean, providing pills can have a lot of different contexts, and I you shouldn't do it. If you have a prescription that's for you, you should not give those pills to
Correct.
anyone. But at the same time, you don't want to paint paint him with a brush that is going to, he probably feels pretty awful about whatever,
I would imagine,
role he played in, Tyler Skaggs' tragic
addiction.
death and addiction. And I'm sure he's had some, moments where he's thought long and hard about this. And, this is just going to make it all kind of drag it right back up to the surface.
100%.
So it's a very sad story. All right, let's go to the Hall of Famer. Clear first ballot, maybe number one own wing of the Hall of Fame. Paulie says they named the DDT Hall of Fame after Antonio Brown.
Don't do this.
I mean, so many things that Antonio Brown, you almost start shrugging like, it's Antonio Brown. This one seems pretty serious. Law enforcement.
Honest, you guys sent it yesterday, and I saw it was AB. I didn't click on it. I was like, all right.
No, this one's
another one.
This one's a big one. This one's a big one. Law enforcement in Miami-Dade County is seeking the arrest of former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown on charges of attempted murder. This is information obtained first by the Washington Post. Charges stem from a shooting Brown was allegedly involved in during a celebrity boxing event in Miami last month, according to police details. Gunshots fired at the event hosted by an online streamer. Brown was seen fighting with several people on a social media video prior to the gunshots, and then you could hear the gunshots after the altercation. Apparently, Brown is accused of grabbing a security guard's gun after the fight, grabbing the security guard's gun and then shooting toward the people,
chasing the guy down and shooting at him.
Hit
somebody.
He hit someone. No one was killed, obviously, hence the attempted murder and not actual murder. But it's that's a very serious charge that he'll be facing, and just continues the. I mean, I can't even. I tried to look like AI, list of Antonio Brown incidents, and it pretty much broke the system as I was trying to compile the results of everything that Antonio Brown has gone through and controversies he's been involved in through his career and after his career.
Man, it just at some point it's got to be enough, right? You got to figure it out how not to be constantly in trouble and constantly in the news.
It makes getting a fake COVID vaccination card seem like that was a fun one for AB.
For AB.
This one's pretty serious.
You wonder if anything's going to happen to him, right?
I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, how does this story end?
Is it self-defense?
I don't know.
Interesting. This is a little bit more lighthearted for Doo-Doo.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
I do need to tread lightly. This was incredible, and it actually made it out onto the TV broadcast last night. The Cubs, Benny, were taking on the Pirates, and Seiya Suzuki hit a home run. And he was super excited, got back into the dugout, and they panned to him, and he's dancing, and he's looking down the tunnel. There's the tunnel down to the clubhouse. And he was not playing, I guess, last night. Justin Turner was down the tunnel, and he was celebrating. So they said, oh, this is cool. Two teammates, Justin Turner celebrating his teammate Seiya Suzuki's home run. And Turner raises his arms. We've got the audio.
Our fan of the game brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade for the love of lemonade, and it's you, Justin Turner. You are our fan of the game.
Pause. So it goes to Justin Turner down the tunnel, and he jumping up and down and dancing. But Ben, he had attached a prosthetic set.
Pair.
Testicles. Rubber in nature. They look like they were made out of rubber, hanging from probably
D's.
Like these, yeah.
D's.
Tied to his belt, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
And they were slapping back and forth as he was clearly doing it to make his teammate laugh. Yeah, keeping it lighthearted, as baseball players need to do in the course of 162. Now, so they pan to him. You just heard them pan to him. Listen to the deafening silence from Boog Sciambi and Jim Deshaies after they realized what just made it on.
Fan of the game.
Woo!
Now we see it.
Nothing.
You can't even speak.
Mics are off. I guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
Mics are off. They're laughing hysterically.
Been 2 pitches. Still nothing.
Still nothing.
That's the first.
You can hear it.
Now, Ryan,
You can hear. He goes, "That's the first." They're done. I mean, I want one day. We've talked to Boog a few times. I have to ask him what went on behind the scenes when you saw Justin Turner dangling those things around. Somebody just said, "That's a doo-doo." This 100%.
Well,
it's hysterical.
Yeah, you posted earlier this week when we went to the Padres game with Bo on his last day of first grade. That mentally, you've always been there.
Always first grade. That's where I started.
You have a first grade sense of humor.
Who doesn't think that's funny? You don't think that's funny?
All right, it's a little funny.
It's really
pretty
funny.
funny.
It's really
It's funny for me to think of Justin Turner like
going down into his
hiding
locker
them somewhere,
Yes.
like he's got them at the ready or
Watch
something.
this.
That is.
Do you just
somewhat
carry those
amusing.
around with you?
Yeah.
keep in his back pocket. Who's the current Padre most likely to do this?
Tyler Wade.
Tyler Wade.
Tyler Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. I loved it. I thought it was so funny. So funny.
And that's really, really don't and sort of do this for a Friday.
It's true.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Darren Smith standing by. SDFC returns to MLS play tomorrow. We'll talk soccer, get his thoughts on the Padres, and more coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Was driving through the neighborhood yesterday, heading home, and I saw a one of the moms of the neighborhood lugging in 4 giant containers of water that had been dropped off out in front of her house. And I thought, man, that used to be me. I don't have to do that anymore. One of the chores I got to take off once we got the eco water system in our home. Don't have to bring it in, load it onto the thing, bloop, 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 spill it all the time, always spilled it. But yeah, with the eco water system, we have bottled quality water right from every tap in the house. Absolutely tastes delicious, incredible, game changer. Skin feels good, coffee's better. The pets get better water. That we wash our food or wash our fruit and vegetables in better water, safer. They'll do a free in-home water test for you today. You'll blow your mind what you have been drinking, taking showers in. Get that free in-home water test today with EcoWater. You can try the Soft Life and alkaline water. Now just $9.95 a month. It really does make a difference. Call 760-350-3338 or visit ecowatersocal.com today. Make sure to let them know Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. They've been keeping it soft at EcoWater since 1925. EcoWater, your water should be perfect.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Just want to quickly address something to the Tier 1 or anybody else who thinks they may have heard me calling in to the Maggie and Perloff show this morning. That was not me. I actually wasn't even listening to, sorry, Maggie and Perloff. I was following early U.S. Open coverage this morning. So someone said they thought they heard me call into the show in the 5 a.m. hour.
Would have been
Ben
hysterical.
from San Diego.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
I want you to do that now.
Let's be quite clear. If I ever called into Maggie and Perloff, which I'm not saying that I have or would ever do, I would use a fake name.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Perloff, long time, first time.
Hey, Maggie. Yeah, somebody said they were asking for the Mount Olympus. Maybe that's their spin on Mount Rushmore. You tell me, Ben. I don't know how to listen. But they said, and the Ben that called in said Jerry Coleman and Uncle Teddy. So that's weird. Broadcaster. So I connected the dots.
I called into the Jim Rome show once.
Yep.
Waited on hold like an hour and a half. Got on for like 25 seconds. I didn't flame out, but it wasn't a memorable call. I didn't win the huge call of the day.
You didn't.
You
Hey,
get
what's up?
wrapped.
What's up, Rome? Here's what we're gonna do, bro. And you didn't.
Hey, let me tell you about Woods and
No.
Corona.
No.
That guy sucks.
Yeah, that bit.
This was before I was in radio myself, so I was still
Just a
pretty young.
kid.
Yeah, I was still kind of just a kid.
What was the topic?
Padres.
Did you get that? We don't like
Yeah.
that call.
They were on a run. They were
Not
on
a
like
very good
14 in a
call.
row.
Oh.
I think this was 1997 or somewhere around there. And they had like won 14 in a row, and they were making a run in August of that year.
Was
Now-
he crapping on the Padres?
No,
Oh,
he was like talking about
My
him, hyping him
Padres,
up.
yeah.
So I thought I'll call in. I'm a Padres fan. Let's give my excuse to finally call a national radio show.
You're so nervous.
A little bit.
When he
yeah.
went to
Oh,
you?
absolutely.
I got it.
Pretty nervous.
You don't like that. I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
LT. So I would have called into our next guest show, except he didn't really take that many calls when he had his show. Darren Smith.
Not many at all.
He's going to join us when we come back.
Let's ask him about that. All right.
After a check
I'll
of traffic
start.
here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic report is driven by Manny Sedano Ford in La Mesa, wishing all dads and grads a great June. Couple problems here, guys. One is a 2-vehicle accident blocking a fast lane northbound 15 before University and southbound 125 before San Miguel Ranch Road. A pickup truck has apparently lost its camper shell. That is partially in the slow lane, and there's some blue tarp in lanes as well. So just watch out for a little confusion there. That's South 125 before San Miguel Ranch Road. Dads, grads, and serious savings only at Sedano Ford La Mesa. Get the F-150 STX Super Crew cab for $299 a month, or how about the Bronco Big Bend for $271 a month? For more details on these offers, visit local and veteran-owned SedanoFord.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, not a lot of open phone Fridays on the Darren Smith show, to my recollection. But did Darren Smith ever call into shows when he was growing up?
Stop.
What?
Darren, 20 years in radio here. Over under 14 calls in 20 years.
It's close. It's close. It's right there. I would say I would always take a call from Ben Higgins, though. Ben and Encinitas, rack him. Rack him, boss. Rack him. I got to rack Ben. Did you have a take? Don't suck.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we don't take a ton. Every now and then we'll open it up just to change things up. It gets formulaic. You know how it goes. You know, and you're like, all right, let's hear from these guys. And then about 5 minutes after you do it, we go to break, and I go, that's why we don't take calls. About 99% of the time. We've had a couple of really good ones, but
I mean, there's always some good ones. I think there's always reasons to do it. You know, I think sometimes, you know, giving people the opportunity to vent is always a good platform. You know, I can remember one of the most impactful days that we ever had, not to drag the subject matter down, was when the Chargers left. Or after, and
those days,
you know, people need an outlet. You know, people need a way to you know, to get their thoughts out, even if, you know, they're struggling to put it together. Obviously, we've been on the air for some really tough days, like the passing of Jerry Coleman,
Peter Seidler,
of Tony Gwynn, and Peter Seidler, and you know, I think that's
Junior.
You know, it becomes a little bit of a responsibility, I think, to be that kind of forum. But you know, just to do it because you got nothing better to talk about, I think is kind of lame. It can be kind of lame. And oftentimes that's exactly what it turns into be, unless Ben Higgins is calling it.
No question. Or the lady that's calling to tell you about her conjugal visit that she did, which was still my favorite call of all time. Anybody ever do a conjugal visit? She's like, yes, I did.
Yeah, that's my favorite. When we throw out something as random as that, like, hey, if anybody has ever experienced this, we would love to hear your story.
Like,
call in.
My husband was in prison, and I went and did the whole thing.
When Tom Fordham called in on Big League Wednesday.
That's right.
That was fun.
It was really good.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, like, I remember overnight radio doing it to Steve Summers at WFA, you know, like 4 a.m, you know, being like, hey, what do you think about the Knicks? You know, like just because there's nothing better to do.
I did a lot of the dedications. I called the music stations. Hey, this is Steve. Could you play Waiting for a Girl Like You for Kim, please? And then you know, let her know that it's coming. You record it so they hear it.
Hey, turn on a 97.3 right now.
Or trying to make a request and then trying to record the song.
Always.
Yeah, just put it and I have my finger on the play and the record. So
it's the worst. These kids have no idea how easy they have. I want to listen to blank. Just type it in if it's right there, man. We had to work for it, buddy.
We did, man. He used to sit there and wait. On the edge of your seat for this song, be like, nope, that's not it.
That's it.
Wait, next song.
So how's everything, man? We texted a little bit this week about the friendly that SDFC absolutely dominated. You kind of gave me some good insight as to, you know, why that game was important. And, you know, we know that, you know, the other team didn't bring their best players, and that's fine. But these guys for SDFC were really grinding for some to be noticed and to earn some more minutes. And in your opinion, did some guys do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's not like we had the A squad out there either. Right. You know, when you look at some of the ages of the people that were playing for Club America, you know, I actually have it in front of me. It's, you know, like 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds. But, you know, the guys that were in our starting 11 were 19, 19, 21, 21, 20, 22, 24. So, you know, it's not like we, you know, had some veteran squad out there. And I think some guys absolutely made the case for more minutes. And it'll be interesting this week when you have players that are returning from Europe. You know, we have 4 or 5 guys that were playing in Denmark and Finland and Northern Africa just over the last couple of days. So, you know, those guys are trying to get back. And now if you're Mikey Vardas, you probably feel pretty good about what it is that you saw this past weekend. So I thought guys really performed well and handled themselves well. And it was a packed house. It was 32,000 people, and it's Club America. So, you know, it's not like this was just some day to show up and just be casual. Guys absolutely gave their coach something to think about and made the case that, you know, that they can be trusted, and they played the style that they want to play with. So it was a really, really great night for everybody that was there on Saturday. So yeah, absolutely. I think some of these guys can be trusted, and I think they're probably going to get some minutes heading into Saturday afternoon, evening against Minnesota.
So this is a pretty big game and stretch here of next 2 games for SDFC. How important is this? Because Minnesota and SDFC are tied second in the standings with 30 points apiece behind Vancouver, who is going to be the next opponent in a week and a half for SDFC.
Yeah, huge. And, you know, an opportunity now to see how you stack up, right, against the teams. We just did this on the baseball side to an extent. You know, I know the whole measuring stick thing gets a little bit overplayed, but you know, I think when you know, we haven't seen Minnesota yet. And, you know, the teams that SDFC has faced and performed well against, teams like LAFC, Seattle, you know, these were all playoff teams from a year ago, and SDFC did really well against them. So, you know, that was last year. Now you get a chance to see what it looks like up against some of the top competition. And, you know, you also have, you the situation is now, the international window isn't completely closed. So, SDFC is going to have to play without Luca De La Torre for a while. And they're going to have to play without Anibal Godoy. That's 2/3 of your starting midfield. But for Minnesota United, they're going to be playing without their number one goal scorer and without their starting goalkeeper. So these guys are playing in the Gold Cup. They represent countries, Canada, the United States, Panama, et cetera. So, not only is it you're going up against the top teams in the Western Conference, but you're also going to have to do it a little bit shorthanded, but so are they. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see, what Minnesota's all about. I'm excited to see what Vancouver's all about. And, oh, by the way, the next 3 are on the road, too. So we don't have a home game until July 5th. So it'll be another good test, for the team to start the second half.
Darren Smith joins us here on Ben and Woods this morning. And speaking of the Gold Cup, I got to hear what your thoughts are on the U.S. men's national team. Probably frustrating, making the news seemingly for always the wrong reasons, D. Smith.
Yeah, and guys, you're not this good to have this kind of drama. This isn't like Kevin Durant and you're just give it a rest already. Like nobody really wants to hear this, especially a year out from the World Cup.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think there's probably some valid points on both sides. I think, some of the stuff and frustration that Landon has expressed, I think has been valid. And I also understand the criticism that it comes from Landon Donovan, who took a hiatus and stepped away from the national team or stepped away from soccer, as he put it. So, I mean, I think the thing is, if it was anybody other than Christian Pulisic, it might, people would be like, yeah, why isn't that guy with this team? But everybody who's been around Christian Pulisic, even somebody like Mikey Varas will tell you, like he's going to be there, he will be there for the World Cup. And, he's not just taking a vacation to go party in the Caribbean. He's a guy that's probably got to get his body right. So I think there are valid points on both sides, but for me, it's just more the frustration of, this isn't exactly a product, that everybody embraces. You should be doing more to try to get people on board and unify the fans of the U.S. And instead, it just feels like it's ripping it apart again. And it's not really good for anybody, especially based on the way they're playing.
And let's keep in mind that even if Christian Pulisic had been there, they're not saving U.S. Men's national team from the abysmal performances that we saw, especially the one against Switzerland the other day. I mean, some people saying that was one of the worst performances they've had in decades.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where you're like, well, hey, we just hired this coach. Maybe you should fire this coach, and like kick him to the curb and get this guy out and find somebody that understands a little bit more about U.S. soccer. And they paid a fortune for this guy, Maurizio Pochettino. So, it's not good. And maybe Pulisic would help. Or maybe if Pulisic's here, then other guys would be like, okay, now I'm going to invest as well. So, I would love to see him playing. I think it's confusing. He's like, well, I'll go to the friendlies, but I don't want to play in the Gold Cup. You're like, wait, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, the whole thing is very frustrating. And it'd be nice to have somebody in a position of leadership just to like get everybody to, shut the F up and like focus on this really important stretch for the U.S. that we've never had. This is the most important stretch that we've had in 30 years, and we're blowing it. So, it's frustrating.
Talking about leaders, we got our fearless leader, Mike Shildt, joining the program at 9 a.m., D. Smith. Talk a little Padres baseball. I think we can all agree he's done exactly what you just said that they need for the U.S. men's national team, right? I mean, he's gotten these guys to pull together, to be kind of a scrappy team. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing. I don't like the term smoke and mirrors when it comes to baseball and winning series. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's good baseball at times. And I like what he's done. Kind of what is your thoughts on how these the last few games have gone? I mean, never boring against the Dodgers. You do feel like you let probably 2 of those get away.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's fair. I don't think the Padres really played all that great, and obviously the results sort of support that. It was frustrating. Even the game that the Padres won, you sort of, I don't know, it felt you don't ever want to apologize for a 10-run win,
right?
But you're like, there's like that psychological warfare of having to watch Kike Hernandez pitch for 2+ innings, where it's like, that wasn't the most satisfying way to win a 10-run game. I mean, I agree. Something that Jackson Merrill said, you could tell like he really liked that first game. I thought that was good baseball. I thought it was, an exciting game across the board. I just, there's some things I think, that are confusing to me. I think you guys talked about it a little bit on the roundtable, like just having the script of Randy Vasquez, just go 2 times through the order and then
Yep.
be like, okay, well, that's all we wanted out of him. There's still a couple of things I think that are a little bit unclear, but all in all, I still feel like there's a good team here. I still think it's a good team. They're just not getting performances from guys that you would expect to get to, like Fernando and especially Luis Arraez. So, I still believe in them. I still think that, it's a good team at its core, but, they've got some things that they got to smooth out here and figure out between now and the time when the games like really, really feel like they're much more important, like September, October.
Darren, really appreciate it. Just quickly, would you drop Fernando out of the leadoff spot in the lineup?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't not, and like, I'm not saying that I would be committed to it, but if I felt like it was the right thing, I wouldn't hesitate to do it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't not do it just because I would be worried about, what his reaction would be. I think, you have valid reasons to do it if you feel strongly that you should do it. And if that's the way you feel, then like you should pull the trigger on that.
Yes.
You shouldn't be hesitant to do it just because you're worried about, whatever that it might have some side effect on him or anybody else. And that goes for Luis Arraez too. I wouldn't hesitate to move him down in the order either if I felt like it was in the best interest. I wouldn't worry about that other stuff, but like, you just got to be committed to it and do it. And just be like, hey, this is why we're doing it. And we believe in our decision-making, and that's that. And everybody should fall in line.
I tend to agree. Darren, appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Darren Smith, SDFC broadcaster. They're going to take on Minnesota tomorrow. I think it's like 4:30 or 5:30 tomorrow, Central Time. A big game, second place on the line in the Western Conference standings in MLS. I think I do understand Mike Shildt's love of consistency because it's hard to build that. But you could drop them both, and they both get going, and you feel like, why didn't I do this a couple weeks ago?
You can't cry over that. What you need to be strong and resolute in your decisions, and this is why we're doing. Like Darren said, this is why we're doing. Also, keep in mind, they're not moving Toddy down to 7, right? Like he may go from 1 to 2, right? Like
at this point, no one's going to be accusing Mike Shildt of making. Oh yeah, you're just pulling something out of a hat, aren't you?
Right.
No. I mean This would be a well thought out decision if he decides to make a switch.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
All right. We got still a busy second half of the program coming up, including Take on Woods, a Reindl Report in our 8 o'clock hour, all leading up to Mike Shildt at 9. Stay tuned. Ben and Woods continuing next on The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paulie, Benny. The song you're hearing right now is from a band called Queens of the Stone Age. And they've got a new little album out today, Benjamin. But it was recorded live in the Paris catacombs. You know the skulls down with the million skulls of people? Have you seen the catacombs
I have
before?
not.
Have you never seen the catacombs?
I don't think I
You guys know what
really-
I'm talking about?
I mean, I know what catacombs are.
Yeah.
They have them like under the Vatican
Yeah.
where they,
I've been there.
underground chambers. Where,
Wow.
Bro,
I never even heard of them.
put that on the live stream if you can. It is one of the craziest, creepiest places I've ever been. Hannah and I went when we went on our honeymoon to Paris and went down into the catacombs. We had to reserve it, weeks in advance to make sure you get in. And once you get down in there and you start walking through, skulls of people, real skulls and bones, and it is truly a once in a lifetime experience. You get down in there, very narrow, dark, dank, all those words, Benny. And you feel like I was in there for about 10 minutes. I looked at Hannah. I go, how much longer do we have? How much longer
There's
do
like
we
a
need?
wall of bones.
A wall of skulls and bones.
Like someone had to arrange them all.
Correct.
It's very grim.
It's very, very creepy. Very creepy. So we went down there. It's, you have to see it if you're there. But they just went down, and it took them many, many years to get the red tape cut. But they went down in there and played, I think there's 6 songs. They just put it out today, Queens of the Stone Age live at the Catacombs. Listen to it on the drive-in this morning. It's haunting. So no, they were not allowed to amplify anything.
Wow.
No electric guitars, no drum sets, like it was, there's a cello, like a violin. It's very, very beautiful and very, very creepy, and highly recommend check it out. If you love Queens of the Stone Age, you probably already did. There's a film out about it as well. But yeah, just wanted to give that a mention today because I'm going to be listening to it all weekend. It's unbelievable. And to think about going down there, it's like, where would we do a show that would just scare the crap out of you? Like at the top of the Space Needle or something like that, to just be terrified.
So the catacombs contain the remains of more than 6 million people.
Yes.
And the cemeteries were overflowing. So they had to do something, and they just started moving bodies, stacking them up down there in these walls of bones.
It is a very eerie place, to go.
But tell me how great things were back in the 18th century.
Hey, what are we going to do with all these bodies? I don't know. Stack them up. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We have no more room in the ground here. 6 million people, right?
Wow.
But yeah, and then you listen to the music and the songs. They've taken some of their electric songs and obviously acoustic, made them acoustic and different arrangements. And man, it's so good. It's so good and so cool. Like you have to have some stones to go down there, I feel like, and play a full set. I don't know. It's very weird.
It's weird though that the older something gets, it goes from scary to historical at some point.
Yeah, but still creepy. Still very creepy.
Well, yeah, it's always going to be a bit creepy.
Old
but
stuff creeps me out.
I don't think I'd feel like unsafe or anything. Though.
No, but there's like, he said, he's talking about it. He's done a bunch of interviews about it recently. He said it's pretty eerie. I mean, you're down there playing, you hear a cello down there. Cello's a terrifying instrument. Sounds terrifying.
Imagine people walking around a top or whatever.
And you're like, oh God. And surrounded by the souls maybe of 6 million people. Certainly their bones. It's really good. Check it out today. It's very, very good. Easy listening.
What do you feel about cemeteries?
A little creeped out.
Are you?
Yeah.
I know I've had relatives like hold their breath when you drive by one.
It's an old bit, but yeah. I don't particularly like I have no interest in being in
I haven't
one.
had a lot of reasons to go to to cemeteries. Just haven't a lot of my family members that I've been lucky. I haven't had a whole lot of people close to me pass away, and the ones that did, we chose to go cremation instead of burial. So I just never really went. I did go a couple of years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago now. Took my wife up to Washington for a wedding that we had to go to, and we had a whole day to kind of go around. And there's a park in downtown Seattle, Washington, that overlooks the city and the water, and it is gorgeous. Volunteer park, and there is a cemetery there, along with like gardens and play areas and fields and all that. And there's a cemetery there, and that's like where Bruce Lee is buried. And we did kind of walk around because his tombstone, it's a spectacle.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it's like art. It was unbelievable.
Well, it's weird. So I went to Père Lachaise, also in Paris. It's where Jim Morrison's grave is, and Oscar Wilde, and all these, literary heroes. And that was cool. That was cool, but it's different. I like going to a cemetery. It creeps me out.
I remember when I was a kid that my grandma would take me to Fort Rosecrans, which is the one out on Point Loma.
Yep, I've been there
with the military. And my great grandmother's brother, I think, Eddie, died in World War I. Was one of the casualties, and he was buried there among the neatly ordered white headstones as you see at a military cemetery like that. And I mean, part of it's amazing. It
really is.
The history, it goes on, and
okay, so weirdly, the military ones don't creep me out at all. Like both my grandfathers are buried in military cemeteries. Doesn't creep me out at all. Beautiful, as you said, the really understated headstones and things like that, and all lined up together, and you're like,
nice grass.
You feel almost like proud,
mesmerizes you. Like drive by, or
anything. You're like proud, like you fought for your country, and that's. But the old creepy with the fence in the front and the big tree overhangs. Like there's one in Telluride that's really creepy, man.
More of a graveyard than a cemetery.
I
know, but like when I was down in Mexico on vacation a few years ago, and theirs are more above ground. They've got more of the tombs and the crypts that are all like
and
above
the
ground.
Too, yeah.
Crypts.
Oh, crypts.
Yes. And that's interesting because it's almost like a carnival.
It's like New Orleans.
With just all the different, with all the different styles and of architecture that they have going on in those. And I mean, they're fascinating in a certain way. But then you realize, like, World War I, and then but people have been dying for as long as people have existed, and eventually even the oldest of cemeteries they get forgotten, and we have new ones. And I don't know, is it sustainable? It's weird.
It's definitely not.
It's a weird thing thinking about this on Friday the 13th. Obviously.
Paulie, your wife says that you guys can go see her grandparents this weekend if you want.
I'm good, but if she wants to, we can. Like I said, neither of us have Father's Day plans.
I don't feel like there's anyone there. It's not the person you're visiting. Like, I'm not going to be offended if no one comes and visits me because I'm not really there.
You're not going to be buried anyway.
Well, I'm not planning on being buried, but
Paulie, do you hear what he said? Do you hear what he said?
That
he just ran right through it.
He said we won't go visit. He said we can go visit your grandparents, Megan, because we don't. Neither of us have fathers. That's cool.
So neither of us have any plans for Father's Day.
She said we have a cemetery right across from us at Channel 10. She says that's the one where they are. I see it like every day.
Could you go over and pay your respects?
I guess.
To Megan's grandparents the next
almost
time.
Every single day.
I'll be upset if you don't.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were right there.
Yeah,
I'll be personally offended.
You need to go.
We got two of them. We've got Holy Cross Cemetery, and then the other big one that's right there. I forget what it's called.
As I mentioned earlier, it's been a little bit of a dark day in the Bendenwood studio this morning. And I think we weren't planning on it being a dark day, but it's Friday the 13th, and I think the cosmos just steered us this way. I think it's just steering us to the dark. So I'm really looking forward to our interview with Mike Shildt at 9. Can't wait for that.
It's not like they got swept by the Dodgers. Shouldn't be that dark,
I guess.
Well, don't ask me what I was watching on TV last night because I watched Netflix has a bunch of documentaries that have just come out. I watched the Titans submersible documentary and also watched the documentary on the Travis Scott Music Festival from a few years ago, Astro World, where people were like trampled and crushed to death.
It's very uplifting.
Riveting documentary, not very uplifting to talk about.
Yeah, I watched the Brian Wilson documentary last night. Go figure. So there you go. What did you watch?
I watched the 4th episode of Stick last night.
He's a big Stick fan.
There was some death talk in that as well, actually. So can't get away from it.
Now, Stanley Cup went down last night. Another ridiculous game. And I pitched this to you guys this morning. I said, I don't know, man. They're averaging like 9 goals a game or something in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I thought, am I insane, or are hockey games like 3-1, 1-0, 2-0, mostly during the regular season. Why the offensive outburst in the playoffs? Wouldn't it be tighter? But you said the average goal per team is about 3.
Yeah, so
that's
I mean,
an average
5-4, but in overtime, it's a slightly more offensive game than usual, but it's not soccer. I mean, they do score.
They
some
do.
goals.
Jordan said, "Bet the over blindly." In all of these games, there have been tons of goals scored, and I just wondered. I wondered if that was the norm in the Stanley Cup Finals. But Edmonton, I
would think you're more right that there tends to be usually more lower scoring games. But I don't have the stats on
it's
the
just
historic numbers of whether there's more or less. But
you see how that game ended, and Florida had a 3-goal lead.
They were up 3-0 after the first. Then Edmonton scored 3 in a row in the second.
My God.
Edmonton took the lead in the third period, and then Florida scored in the last 20 seconds to tie it up and force overtime. But Draisaitl scored again in OT to even up the series at 2 games apiece.
Again, we don't have a dog in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if that was the San Diego Oilers and you were watching that last night. I mean, you're sick. You're sick to your stomach. Like the whole time. Baseball playoffs get me like that. I mean, it's absolutely nauseating. But the only good thing about baseball playoffs is when you're watching your favorite team in the playoffs and when they're hitting, you're like, okay, let's see what happens. You're relatively calm. When they're on defense and they're pitching, you're sick. You're sick to your stomach. Hockey, you're just a wreck the whole time.
I think there's a psychological reason why people often say the best playoffs are the Stanley Cup playoffs. They're the most dramatic. And my theory here is that in hockey, like soccer, you're always going to get a lot of games that are decided by 1 goal because there's not that much scoring. So it's often going to be tied or a 1-goal game late. Now, unlike soccer, where you may go 4 or 5 minutes between a shot, you're constantly right in front of the net. So as a fan, you're always feeling like it's about to happen. The game-winning goal is about to happen. If it's overtime, you're holding your breath constantly every time down the ice. But it can still drag on. We've seen, double overtime, triple overtime games, 4 overtime games in the Stanley Cup playoffs where for 20 minutes every overtime,
you're sick.
Every 15, 20 seconds, you're going, oh, they're going in. This could be it. This could be it. No. And then you get a break for about 10 seconds as they go to the other end of the ice and you go, this could be it. This could be it. No. And you almost, your body starts reacting to that tension, even if you're not, specifically cheering for one of those teams. It's a very intense viewing experience,
very intense,
especially with so much on the line in a playoff game.
Yeah, you've never done meth. It's like that, I would imagine, right?
Imagine if the Padres and Dodgers were playing in, a playoff series like they were, but every single inning started tied with a runner on third base, and it's like any moment, any pitch, it could end.
But see, even then, if it's the third, if it's you mean an extra innings? Yeah. I mean, it's brutal. That's what this is like. So I think. As much as I want to have a hockey team here, because I would be all in from day one, I don't know I don't know that I could make it because the other day it's June and I'm standing up in front of the TV with my hands on my hips going, come on, dude, come on, come through.
I haven't watched a ton, but I'm looking at the box scores at least in the morning and I'm like, has every freaking game gone into overtime or double? And 3 out of 4 have.
Well,
I would imagine, and this is our first season of MLS, but I would imagine when you get to the playoffs and you're going to the end and you're maybe going to a penalty kick shootout to determine if your team moves on to the championship game. And it'll be exciting if San Diego FC gets to that point. That's going to be unbearably tense at that point at the end of the season when you get to the playoffs. Unbearably so.
It's really tough. I mean, we talked a little bit about it on the live stream last night. The what these guys go through. And think about a hockey player, man, plays 82 games. The playoffs are so intense, they're so tough. You get to the finals, and now both teams 2-2, so now it becomes a 3-game series for all the marbles.
God.
And you get to a game 7 and you lose a game 7. How devastating mentally, physically, you left it all out there for 82 games plus the playoffs and you lose a game 7. You're sick. You're just, how do you come back? Literally, how do you come back from it? I mean, that's every time I think about these guys that lose a game 7 in a World Series after 162 plus spring training, plus the playoffs, and you lose a game 7, you're like, You're joking. You're joking. Like, yes, we got a pennant. Yes, we're going to get rings. I'm never going to wear it. Second place ring. I'm going to throw it in a safe. This sucks. Everything, all the batting practice, all the ground balls, all the extra inning comebacks, the late inning comebacks, the big hits, the walk-offs, your arm is battered.
The playoff
beard, all the travel, and you're like, we lost in the last game. It's just got to be so devastating for these dudes.
All right, we need a contestant for a Take on Woods. It's coming up in our next segment, 833-288-0973. Last chance this week to qualify for our spa getaway to Las Vegas and our musical trivia challenge, 833-288-0973. Don't forget, coming up at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock, it's our manager's report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. So as we started this segment and got into our discussion of the catacombs and cemeteries, I just knew what was coming. I didn't plan it this way.
No, it just happened.
It just happened. But of course, it's time for us to tell you about trustandwill.com. I promise we did not arrange that. It's just they're
not going to believe us anymore.
The forces of the universe always lead us in this direction. Yes, of course, death, as we just talked about, is a natural and inevitable part of life. But there is a way to prepare yourself and your family to make it a lot less stressful, a lot less financially burdensome if you can just take a few minutes and go to trustandwill.com and set up your online documents, whether it's a will or go all the way in with a trust, put all your assets and have them transferred without the need for expensive probate court.
Yeah, and again, man, they want to save you some money. They're going to give you 20% off when you go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN, F-A-N, when you check out, and they're going to take good care of you. They're going to ship you your state documents as well. Throw them in the desk. Forget about them until somebody needs them.
I may change my will and ask to be put in the Paris catacombs after I die.
Oh, of course you'd make it hard on everybody. Now we got to get you over there. God, man. Of course you would. The guy, he's so amenable in life. And then when he dies, he's like, actually, I want to go put in the
get your money's worth.
Have you ever been to Paris, Ben?
No, but I want to be there.
But I want to be there forever.
Yeah.
And
just in case Queens of the
check
Stone
out the
Age
Queens
play.
of the Stone Age concerts while I'm there. It sounds like a pretty good place to be for the rest of eternity. Get 20% off. Use the code FAN. Get those documents and the peace of mind that comes with them by going to trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Still have some open lines for Take on Woods. If you want to be our contestant here, got to play in about a minute or two. So call in now, 833-288-0973.
That's a nice way to say we don't have a caller. That was a real slick.
Yeah, I was just trying to be a little more subtle about it.
We don't have a caller.
Nobody's listening.
You've been somewhat vulnerable this month.
And we need one.
You've been beaten, you've been tied. So it can happen. Call in now, 833-288-0973.
That's old school radio.
That is old school
You don't want to
radio.
let people know that nobody's listening
calling,
and
nobody's
calling
listening.
in.
Yeah,
I know people are listening.
that's great.
I know you're out there. I can see you in the YouTube chat right now. Call in. We talked about SDFC. The Wave play tonight as well at the Houston Dash. They're going to try to bounce back after a loss to the Seattle Reign in their last match, 2-1.
Elisa says, it's desperate times if Ben is in the chat. Very, very, very true.
There we go.
All right.
Everyone's calling in.
There we go. Just need a little nudge.
Just a hint, a whiff of desperation gets people moving here on a Friday. Let's play a little Take on Woods. All right, you bailed us out here. Caller, who's this?
This is Mike.
Mike. Thank you, Mike. It's Friday. I mean, it's not the worst thing here. You have a chance to qualify for a getaway to Las Vegas, to Resorts World 2 nights, spa passes to the glorious Co-Ed Awana Spa, one of the largest facilities in Vegas, and food and beverage credits at any of their 5 fabulous elevated pools. You can book your vacation at rwlasvegas.com. You are putting yourself on the line here, though, for Take on Woods. 5 questions of musical trivia, and you get to pick our category. Here are your choices. We've got Across to Bear, 5 song titles and artists that include the word cross. Never Say Never. That's 5 2-second songs, all including the word never. And Heaven Sent, 5 songs with the word heaven in the title. Never Say Never, Across to Bear, or Heaven Sent. What's it going to be, Mike?
Let's try Never Say Never.
We get the 2-second song category. All right. Not only do all these song titles include the word never, they all begin with the word never. Now, remember, you not only need to identify the song title, you have to give me the artist as well to score the point. We've got 5 of them, so Paulie's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't know one, you can pass. We'll come back to that music if there's time left on the clock. All right, you ready to go, Mike?
I think so, yeah.
Paul, you found the files?
I'm ready.
All right, he's ready to go. All right, the category is Never Say Never, all 2-second songs. Your time begins when Paulie plays our first song. 60 seconds on the clock. Good luck, Mike. Here we go. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
Let's go to song number 2.
I'm drawing a blank on that.
All right, let's go to song number 3.
Pass.
Song number 4.
Oh, that's in excess.
Yep.
Never.
Yep.
In excess.
All right, you want to go to song number 5?
Yeah. Never Go Back Again, Fleetwood Mac.
Correct.
Yes.
Go back to song number 1.
Pass.
Let's go back to the NXS one. He was so close on song number 4. We ran out of time. You got one. Hey, it's not
Mike,
over.
you got one.
It's never over. Hang on, Mike.
I'm happy with that.
All right, let's go through the answers quickly as we get ready for Woods to come back. First song was Never Let You Go by Third Eye Blind. Second song was Never Let Me Down Again by Depeche Mode. Third song, we got Rick Rolled by Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. Fourth song was Never Tear Us Apart by INXS. You knew the band. And you got the Fleetwood Mac song. I thought the toughest one, Never Going Back Again. See how Woods does. I think he's going to do well, but we'll see. Mike's score is locked in. Woods doesn't get the category, but he does get the knowledge that it's all 2-second songs today. All right, so it's all up to Paulie. 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods, or take on Mike.
All right. It's Never Let You Go by Third Eye Blind.
That is correct. Song number 2.
That is Depeche Mode. Never Let Me Down Again.
Correct. Song number 3.
Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Correct. Song number 4.
Oh, Never Tear Us Apart in Excess.
Correct. And song number 5?
Never Coming Back Again by Fleetwood Mac. Never Going Back Again.
Never Going Back Again.
Same
You won
thing.
either way. 4-1 or 5-1. You beat Mike today in the category Never Say
It's a good one.
Never. Well, it's fun. I liked all 5 of those songs.
I do too, actually.
It's
I
a-
was like, ooh, banger, 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 banger.
Pretty good collection of 5 songs that begin with the word never. Mike, thanks for calling in. We do appreciate that. You bailed us out in need of a contestant there.
Yes.
All right. We got Mike Shildt coming up at 9 o'clock. Before that, though, Paulie, what do you have in store for us today on the Reindl Report?
Let's see. We got some movie news to discuss, and I have a surprise for Woodsy. I think something you're going to really like.
A surprise for me?
Yeah, it's a catered story just for you.
Oh,
my
I
friend.
love catered stories.
Yeah.
That is all coming up next with Ben and Woods. Don't go away. It's San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, gang, let me tell you about Loan Pronto. If you're feeling a little bit underwater right now, struggling with credit card debt or high interest debt, you can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. If you own a home right now, the Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. They got instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Your home's equity is yours. Use it. Get cash out to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home. See how much cash you can get today. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They got nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Check out their customer service for yourself. Call now to start the conversation at 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Get debt relief now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Ryan Bergert coming up this afternoon on a FRIAR Friday on the Gwynn and Chris program. And, of course, you're staying tuned for our 9 a.m. Managers Report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Padres open a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight at 6:40. 5:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sammy Levitt. You'll have, of course, all 3 games here on 97.3 The Fan. But keep in mind, if you do like pictures to go with your sounds, that every game is going to be on a different outlet this weekend.
Again.
Tonight. Yes, again, second straight weekend. Tonight, Apple TV game.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, another Fox national game, 4:15 start. And then Friday, back to Padres TV with Don and Mudd.
By Friday, you mean Sunday?
Sunday, yes.
Man,
it was a long week.
It's been a long week, but we have the skipper coming up in 20 minutes. I need you to get locked in, dude.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I need you to get locked. Let me get you some coffee.
Better Buzz? Yeah.
Yeah.
Find me a new couple of shots of espresso before the manager comes on.
Because when you get nervous, it makes me nervous.
I'm not nervous.
You're projecting nervous energy.
Nervous energy. That's it. All right.
Then maybe coffee's not the way to go.
Xanax, perhaps. Can you get centered?
Deep breaths.
Yes.
You know what centers me? Reindl Report.
That's not true.
That is the biggest lie you've ever told. Ever. You know what centers me? The Reindl Report.
I can zen out a little bit.
That's true. He does he takes the whole Reindl Report off anyway.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. Couple problems here, guys. One of them is a collision on northbound 805 right past Home Avenue. 3 or 4 vehicles involved in this one. It's in the center divide. Tow truck is on scene helping out with that. And on the coastline, northbound 5 before Manchester, collision involving a couple vehicles. It's got the slow lane blocked. Yeah, that coastline ride is going to get busier as the day progresses. Gates open at San Diego County Fair at 11 o'clock. And being Friday, yeah, that coastline is going to take a big hit, especially on the northbound side. Southbound side, just have to see how it goes. But give yourself extra time if you're going to be on that coastline in either direction later today. Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware. Purchase a grill this week, and your first cookout is free with 12 burgers and 12 franks, courtesy of Omaha Steaks. That's the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. And Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
and get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
You know what centers me? Reindl Report.
That is the biggest lie you've ever told. Ever.
I'm already feeling more centered.
You know what centers me? The Reindl Report. The
I believe
segue.
that.
The segue master. Good God.
All right, let's get started, gentlemen, on a Friday. Some stuff besides Padres baseball to watch if you're looking for anything else. We already talked a little bit about the hockey last night, 5-4 Edmonton,
Man.
even the series. It's been an incredible series. So game 5 will be on Sunday. No, tomorrow night.
Saturday.
Tomorrow night on TNT, Max, and True TV. In the NBA, we've got the NBA Finals Game 4 tonight, 5:30 on ABC. Oklahoma City favored by 6.5 still over that one on the road. It's going to be in Indianapolis.
On the road, favored by 6.5.
Yep.
Okay.
They got beat pretty handily
Yep.
in Game 3. Can the Pacers do it again and take a 3-1 lead?
Okay, series is at
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Man.
Not the hottest take ever, but I do think that whoever wins tonight wins the series.
Really?
If Indiana wins, I think Oklahoma City is still overall the better team. That's why they're favored in all
Winning
these games.
3 straight, though.
But winning 3 straight against a team as tenacious as Indiana seems untenable. So if they get down, they're in trouble. If they tie it up, though, and they got 2 of the last 3 at home and they're the better team,
They can
then
win
I
it.
feel pretty confident that
Okay.
Oklahoma City
Home,
is going
away, and then home
Yeah,
for Game
I
7.
feel pretty confident
Yeah.
they'll pull it out. So it feels like this is the game that's going to decide the series.
Nick says Thunder have not covered a road spread yet in the playoffs. That is crazy.
They don't have to cover. They just have
They
to
just got to win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't care about covering. Okay, so that is it. I teased a special story just for Woods. I thought this was pretty cool.
I can't wait.
I had seen like just a little nugget like in the last week about this particular team, and like a lot of things, in one ear and out the other, just kind of forgot about it. But have you been following along with? We go to Texas for a little high school baseball. Grapevine High School. Does that ring any bells?
Yes, I graduated from Grapevine High School in 1993.
What was your mascot?
The Mustangs.
The Grapevine Mustangs.
Well, you must be a very proud alum because the Grapevine High School Mustangs have gone back-to-back state champs in baseball this year. Just a few days ago, they won again, and they are one of just a handful of teams that have gone back-to-back in high school baseball in the state of Texas. They beat Kingwood Park 9-5.
Were they a
earlier
baseball
this
powerhouse when you were there?
No.
They had a walk-off win last year to win their first state title, and then they came back and won 9-5
But it is a
this
big
year.
sports school, right? I've
Yeah,
heard of
it's huge,
Grapevine
but
in terms other than you.
I
Just
gotta
going
say,
there.
this is the surprise, the worst surprise I've ever gotten. I wanted.
I thought you'd be super
something bigger,
happy
better?
and proud.
Paulie, I'm 50 years old next month.
So
I graduated from there in 1990. Why would I care?
You don't
school spirit.
School
Pride.
spirit. I'm a 50-year-old man. My kids don't go there. What? Am I in the minority here?
Why do they call it Grapevine anyway? I'm assuming
They have-
Texas isn't known for their wineries.
Yeah, they are.
they?
They have
Really?
Yeah, they have wineries.
Didn't
Sure.
know that.
Yeah.
Texas, a good Texas Bordeaux or Merlot or something. What do they? I've never heard of Texas wine.
Oh yeah. There's good wines in Austin. I mean, the name of my town is Grapevine.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't grow up like on a winery, but there really were
wineries in Texas.
Yeah.
Guz says in our chat, Paulie, no normal adult cares about high school sports that their kids are not involved in. I thought this was like a feel-good story for Woodsy. I'm sorry.
Congratulations to the Grapevine Mustangs. I have not followed. The day I left high school, I was like, See you later, dude.
We're like Friday night's insane, like Texas Friday Night Lights.
No,
for
because our
Grapevine,
football
or-
team wasn't good then either.
No,
But they were in other places. But I was okay. I mean, it wasn't like it was at Permian and stuff like that.
You don't go through your closet and reflect fondly on your Letterman's jacket that still hangs.
I don't
up there?
have anything left of high school. I don't even know if I have my yearbook. I left it behind.
I already know the answer for Ben. Did you have a Letterman's jacket?
No.
I didn't either.
Uh-uh.
I didn't buy one because I knew I wasn't going to care about it after high school.
Yeah. Do you have yours?
yeah, it's in the closet right in the front door.
You still have it hanging in your closet?
I do still have it hanging.
All right, I'm going to need you to wear it on
I'm going to
Monday.
need you to wear it
It's
in.
a little small, but
Bring it in.
Sure.
All right. Do you follow your team? Well, you're from here, and you're in covers.
I
Do you
mean, when
follow
I-
Torrey Pines,
when
what
I
they do?
see, like, I don't know, when I look at like the UT and they say, "Oh, Torrey Pines is in the regionals for the golf," I'll scan it and I'll be a little happier than I guess I would have been otherwise. But I don't follow it that closely. Obviously, there's no one there that was there when I was there.
I mean, Fritz
don't know anyone
Fritz says,
anymore.
"How can you not care about your high school sports?" I counter that with, "How could you?" I'm 50 years old next, and I don't live in Grapevine. If I lived in Grapevine still, I'd be like, "Oh hell yeah, good for the fellas." But I live here, and my kids don't go there.
All right, bad idea.
Yeah,
Sorry.
my kids have already gone to other high schools. So
F you
do
too.
I care about those ones more. I don't really either.
I
It's
can't
just-
wait to see what you get me for my birthday, Paulie.
Oh,
in a month.
I already got your birthday.
I can't wait.
You know what? I'm going to pat myself on the back.
All right.
Best birthday gift you're going to get. The one
Out of everyone.
You gave yourself a birthday gift of going to London to see
Yeah.
Oasis,
Yeah.
but I think I got you something pretty special.
Have you started your birthday shopping yet?
Sorry, Ben.
You have. I mean,
over a month.
Yeah, you have over a month. So I'd get your ass in gear.
I got you.
If Christmas was over a month away, I wouldn't have even given it the first thought yet for anybody.
I had to jump on it. I had to move quickly. All right. So no more high school stories.
Thank you.
We will move on and wrap it up with, I guess this falls under news I certainly wasn't expecting yesterday. How do we feel about Spaceballs 2 coming to theaters in 2027? Not a remake.
Not a remake. A
It's
sequel.
Sequel. Yep. Mel Brooks, Bill Pullman, and Rick Moranis all on board for
Mel Brooks is
Spaceballs
98 years old.
Wow.
98. And he's on board for making another movie here.
98.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it? I liked the first Spaceballs a lot. I thought it was.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but it was really
a
funny.
long time. I saw it when I was
Dark
a kid.
Helmet.
I thought it was Lord Helmet. It's Dark Helmet.
Dark Helmet.
So good. Rick Moranis is amazing.
Who was John Candy? Barf?
Barf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. It was good. It's probably going to be terrible. Is my guess. It's probably going to be terrible. I'm looking forward to the new Spinal Tap that's coming out. It's probably going to be terrible.
What about
too.
the new Naked Gun? I already see the ads for that are out.
Is there?
Oh yeah,
Who's-
Leslie Nielsen is
He's dead.
No, he's taking over the role of Leslie is Liam Neeson.
Oh, Liam Neeson
is taking over another LN for Leslie Nielsen.
All right, I'll try it.
You haven't seen the ads? They've been all over the place. I think they've even run during Padres games.
I don't pay much attention to really anything.
I think Paulie talked about it once with a trailer where they have the.
I think so, yeah.
They all look at the pictures of their dads, and one of them looks at the picture of OJ on the wall and just shakes.
Oh, I did see that. I
his head.
did see that. That's right. Yeah, I'll watch it. I love Liam Neeson, so I'm into it.
Yeah, they had the first teaser yesterday with the Star Wars like text going up and announced that
Maybe
it's coming back.
Is it going to be a movie, or they put it on Netflix or something? It's
movies too now.
Okay.
I don't know. Will it be in theaters?
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
I don't know. I maybe I'll like it.
Will they just be parodying one of the other Star Wars movies?
That's the
because
thing.
obviously it was a direct parody of Star Wars.
It's going to be in theaters. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I'll go to the theater to see it. I'll wait till it streams and then I'll probably watch
The
it.
Schwartz is with us.
They say it might be called The Schwartz Awakens.
The Schwartz Awakens is genius. All right. Now you're selling me. Yeah, let's comb the desert is the great. I loved that movie when I was a kid. Man,
I need to watch it again.
We ain't found ass. It kills me every single time. Yeah, great movie. All right, Rick Moranis is in it.
Yep.
He's reprising his role as, what is it? Dark Helmet?
Dark Helmet.
All right. I'm in. I think it's so good. All right. I'm in.
All right.
I'll watch it.
See
Thank
in
you,
2
Paulie.
years.
And Mel Brooks.
2 years.
Mel Brooks, who played Yogurt. Yoda. It's going to be back at 98.
Didn't he also
years
he
old.
played a couple of characters, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
That's great.
He did where was it?
All right. I may watch Spaceballs this weekend, to be honest with you. It's bringing back a lot of good memories.
Have you not shown the kids that one?
I haven't.
He was President Scroob.
Oh, yeah.
Who was Yogurt?
He was also.
Oh, he was Yogurt
He
as
was
well?
both, yeah.
Pizza the Hut.
It says Josh Gad co-wrote the script. He's expected to be in it as well. Bill
Pullman,
Pullman's son, Lewis Pullman, has been cast along with Keke Palmer. It says there's no word on any other upcoming returning cast members because, like John Candy, Joan Rivers, and Dick Van Patten, they've passed.
Now, Jack Harlow's not in it, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so if he's,
Not
I'll watch it
confirmed.
if he's not in it. Also, Jelly Roll.
Harry
Styles.
Styles.
Harry Styles is fine.
All right.
I'll be into that. As long as Jack Harlow's not in it, I'm good. He could play Broccoli Head. I think it sounds okay. And it sounds like a good writer, good director.
Yeah,
I'm on board. I wonder if Shilty likes Spaceballs.
I mean,
I'm so nervous to ask him about his favorite movies.
There have been so many now remakes of things that you never thought
correct.
would have had a second life.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Brilliant.
I'm waiting for like what other movies are going to get like, are we going to get Ferris Bueller's New Day Off
Probably.
or something?
Probably.
With Glenn Powell running around Chicago.
Glenn Powell. He's like 40. No, it'd be Jack Harlow taking the day off from art school.
I would rather watch Matthew Broderick taking a day off work.
Yeah, me too.
Now he's almost too old to even do that.
I
at
know.
This point.
Cameron's got kids. He's like, get your ass over to my house.
Jordan says he's
You know what? That's a great idea.
It's actually not bad. Jordan says he's never seen Spaceballs. Jordan, I do recommend it. It's pretty funny. The new Happy Gilmore will be out soon, right?
Yeah, that's this summer.
All right, I'll watch that. See how that goes. Not expecting a lot. I just don't.
The trailer was good. Now, was the trailer going to be the best parts?
Parts of the movie,
maybe.
Yeah.
Movies. I mean, the sequels. People have gotten better with the sequels now. Of like at least embracing the cheesiness of doing it a second
I just
time.
don't like when they constantly call back to the last movie with the same. Like I don't like the constant call.
I like if you do it ironically.
Like I know that this is the sequel. So you don't have to refresh me on what went down in the first one because I'm watching the sequel. Nobody starts with a sequel. You watch the original and then they make the sequel and you're like, you don't need to call back to all the stuff that you did, all the same bits that you did, have new bits.
The example I think of is the revival of 21 Jump Street, the movie with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill.
I laughed.
It was really funny.
I laughed.
The second one, they go to college, 22 Jump Street. And like in the beginning, Nick Offerman's the police chief. And he's like, it's basically the same thing as last time. And they're like, so we're doing the exact same thing as last time? He goes, just do the exact same thing as last time. I'm like, that's funny to me.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a sly nod.
All right. Speaking of sly nods.
Oh, here we go.
Coming up next, the slyest of the sly.
Joining us from the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Mike Shildt, the manager's report, is coming up next with Bennett Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of Ben and Woods on a Friday, going until 10 o'clock today. Of course, we got Padres baseball for you this evening from Chase Field in Arizona, the opener to a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it is time right now for our manager's report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. So on Wednesday, after the game against the Dodgers, I was down in the clubhouse with my camera getting some sound, and I saw all kinds of kids and significant others, and I asked, what's going on? And I was told, this is the family weekend trip for the San Diego Padres. And kind of it came out the same day that the Athletic piece about what players, like fans, don't understand about baseball and how little time players get with their families and get to see their kids or their parents because the season is so long and so grinding. So as we welcome Mike Shildt on, Mike, I wanted to ask you, how important do you think it is for teams to do this and have a series, a road trip where they get to bring their kids, their wives, their girlfriends, whoever, and do something like this during the course of a long year? And good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to both of you guys as well. Hope your day's going well.
Thank you.
To get started. Yeah, no, it's for me, it's really, really important. It's first time we've done it since I've been here, and I feel it's really important that we include that. Listen, we're all very blessed and grateful for what we get to do for 9 months together. But the reality is we spend a ton of time, the guys spend a ton of time, staff included, away from their, support systems, their wives, their families, their kids. We're together almost 12 to 14 hours a day for 9 months straight, to the sacrifice of time with the family and loved ones. And so, we need to bring them to us occasionally. And so this is a trip that makes perfect sense, very close, very easy. Had a day off yesterday, which will have people to enjoy that time with their families. So it's really, really, really important.
I love it. Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods this morning. And Shilty, I am looking at currently right in front of me is the bobblehead of one of the most dynamic baseball players that I have ever seen, Fernando Tatis Jr. And I'm continues to help this team win, even when he's not hitting up to what he wants. I'm sure he continues to help this team win with his arm, with his legs. I mean, he's just, as we said, one of the most dynamic baseball players on the planet. And, for you, I think I wanted to ask, have you considered moving him out of the top spot in the lineup? How much talk has there been about lineup construction over the last maybe 6 weeks?
Came right at it, man. That's a good one. The lineups, it's interesting because I think about the lineup every day.
Sure.
So it's not over the last 6 weeks. It's not anything that, there are days that are easier than others. It's clarity for me that's others. It's a wonderful topic for people to talk about.
Yes.
The good news about Toddy is, he can hit anywhere in the lineup. There's also a lot of moving parts of the lineup that, quite frankly, I don't need to discuss,
Right.
that aren't public privy. It's clearly worked when it works. If he's hitting well, you want him hitting there. He still, when he's not there, he's worked some walks. He's got some bags. He's a complete threat. I can tell you, just watching the game, that there's an uncomfortability from the very moment that starting pitcher gets on the mound that has to face him. But yeah, there's a conversation that, internally takes place with me and some of the staff that we always consistently look at, including with players. So, always try to give you guys the absolute best answer I can, and that's the best I can do for you right now.
Yeah, I realize that.
I think every Padre fans knows. I mean, Fernando's going to break out at some point.
Yes.
It's just a matter of when is it going to happen? We all, of course, you do too, hope it's sooner rather than later, but I think we're all confident that it's going to happen. I wanted to kind of talk more about the broader approach for the team, the one that worked amazingly well for you guys last season, early this season. There's so many numbers in this game, Mike, that your head could spin. We were talking with Eno Saris from The Athletic, and he said your guys lead the league in letting pitches travel. And it's one of the reasons why you're so good at not striking out, one of the lowest strikeout rates in all of baseball. Do you see, though, he also said that sometimes when you see that, though, then the other teams start pitching you different. You talk about being elite adjusters. Have you noticed like that in terms of other teams like starting to adjust to what you guys are doing? And how much of a chess game, because I know you like the chess game aspect of it, is that in terms of an approach for a team, being consistent versus having to make those adjustments as the season goes on?
Yeah. I mean, we do some things in-house that are very, very, do our jobs. I think, it's good to have third-party sources point things out. I feel really confident on, you talk about being elite adjusters. We have elite staff. We have really good people and a lot of them that are able to point out these things. And so the first thing of anything is an awareness to it. When you're good at something, especially in this league, to your point, where there's so much information, there's going to be a counter adjustment fairly quickly. This team's doing this well. We need to think about doing that. We do it with our pitching. We do it with our hitting. We know where things are going to, where guys are going to pitch us. We know where it's going to show up. And so there is an awareness. There's a preparation. And this is where I'm so privileged to understand and see this, and it allows me to be very calm, quite frankly, and with all the information and with all the reaction, and in some cases overreaction. And of course, we never want to underreact, and that's the sweet spot to all this, right?
Yep.
At least for me. But I get the privilege to know that all takes place, and to know that there's an awareness to it, there's a work to it, there's an experience to it that says, okay, this is, including our players, this is the part that also want to be understood, that player involvement is this, because they're the ones that go out and perform. So there is an awareness, and there is, again, a sweet spot of mentally figuring out what that looks like, physically figuring out what that looks like, seeing if our team can execute it, making sure we can execute it when we're looking to do it. And then finally, listen, the one thing that I won't alibi, but is a fact, I know people think it's way easier said than done. So when people say, hey, are you aware of this? Are you thinking about that? Or, yeah, we are. And we are working at it. And we've done a pretty darn good job. And I wish I could tell you we were perfect. And I wish I could tell you that these guys were machines and we could just automatically flip the switch and it just happened. But, but I don't want to make any excuses either. At the end of the day, nobody ultimately cares. We got to figure out a way to get it done. And I do think for the most part we do, and do it well. And quite honestly, for my own peace of mental health, and that's all I can do.
100%. It's the hardest needle to thread, I'm sure, for all you guys, because you look at the guys at the top of the lineup with immense capabilities. Obviously, the stretch that Manny's been on has been incredible. I mean, just incredible, putting the team on his back when needed. And the other guys having the ability, you see some of the guys like Jackson starting to break out and go the other way and hit the ball hard and all that. Skip, the information can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes for these guys. Is it important for you to remind a guy like Jackson Merrill, hey man, you're just really good at baseball. Go out and do what you do. Don't get maybe caught up in anything, outside of that, as far as the numbers and things like that go.
Yeah, it's especially important to remind all of them of that. Especially in the, micro world we live in, where, they're not getting those reinforcements anywhere else other than, internally, or, you mentioned the family trip, people
Sure.
that are going to support them. And, that's our little bubble that, does support each other and knows how hard the game is, and, insulates from, the challenge that is the game. And, specifically Jackson, yeah, absolutely. He's a really talented player. Clearly, he's demonstrated it. I think it would be, irresponsible and unfair, quite honestly, to think that there wasn't going to be some regression with any player. Toddy started off in a historic flip.
Yep.
We all would love for that to happen. Jack has started off in an amazing an amazing start. And things do kind of normalize to a certain place, to the back of the baseball card. And we ride it when it's good, and we're excited about it. We want to continue. Of course, they do too. But we also recognize that, it's a long season, and balls are going to be hit at people, and it's just you're not going to get borderline strike calls, and it's just a game, right? And so, yeah, you completely remind Jackson that how great you are and how wonderful a player you are, and try to continue to remind them of all these things, what you do to have success. But the good ones like Jackson, they do need it. They need a human element. They need to continue to go play. And, you mentioned Manny, and, he's had a wonderful year. He's been very, very consistent. But, 4 weeks ago during the stretch, there were some questions about Manny.
Yeah.
And I said, well, see me in a week.
Yep.
And the thing that's interesting about the see me in a week part is then when he gets back to performing well, everybody just goes, yeah, he's Manny. He should be performing well.
It's true. It's true. No, you're right. You're right.
It's
true.
So,
it's
so
true.
true.
It's true.
So true. But that's the nature of the game in the world.
Well, you always say, and I love it when you say it because it's absolutely true. The other team is trying too, and it's like, yeah, you forget that sometimes, and it's absolutely true. And it leads me to my next question. I know you've answered it before, talking about position players pitching, and kind of what we saw a couple nights ago. Do you think that is something that needs to be addressed in baseball, or should teams run their teams the way they want to run their teams?
I think teams run their teams the way they run their teams. I mean, within the rules of the game, and,
yeah,
you have to. And so, look, I got my hands full of managing our own club, and I have an opinion about what that looks like. Position players sign a contract to play positions, pitchers sign a contract to pitch. I do recognize also that, you get into situations where, you don't have any real choices, and unfortunately we got into one of those situations with early in the year and asked Wade to pick up an inning.
Yep.
I was very grateful for him for doing it. I historically have, not looked to do that a whole lot. If we got to, I also feel like that, and again, you get caught in a certain schedule, certain games. Something happens early in the game with a starter, which has happened with us, whether it be, injury or performance. You're going to get stretched out, and you're going to, you don't want to affect anybody's health to pick up that inning if it's not there. So, but the fact of the matter is, if all things being run as efficiently as possible, which again can be out of your hands, it really shouldn't have a lot of situations where you have to pitch a position player.
Couple more minutes here. Speaking with manager Mike Shildt on our manager's report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. So I think we're all blessed, you, us, that we get to do something that we love to do every day. But with every job, there's always the parts you really like, and there's always a couple of things that we don't like doing with our job.
Speak for yourself.
I'm going to ask you, and you can be honest, or you can duck it a little bit. This is an Apple TV game tonight. They always make you do the in-game interview where they'll get down. Trisha Whitaker will come down with
the third inning or whatever
in the middle of the inning. And I've got to imagine if I was a manager, that would be the most annoying thing. I'm trying to manage a game here, and it's in the contract. I'm sure with Major League Baseball, that you have to do that. What's your approach there? Just to get through it? How does this work?
It doesn't really bother me as much as you would think. I kind of got my head around the fact that years ago, actually, that, listen, talk about being blessed, there's no kidding about that. I get to do it in the best market in the industry, with a fun, exciting, talented team. So, it's wonderful. But, once I looked up and realized, I know where our bread's buttered, right? I mean, our fans are our bread and butter. The coverage of the games are our bread and butter. That's how we get compensated. That's how this industry thrives. So I don't want to, shortchange that. Is it inconvenient sometimes? Yeah, I did get a couple of years ago, ESPN Sunday game when they were playing over in Wrigley, and end of the season, and hard fought contest, and they started the inning interview, and it was one of those deals where it wasn't as like it is now. What it is now is it's better, it's quick and it's easy and, it's over. But then it was like, hey, we should talk about, talk through the inning. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And, and it's sure enough, first pitch, Harrison Bader hit a double. And that was back when the pitchers were hitting.
Yep.
So, there was some strategy. And of course, I thought about what that strategy looked like prior to the inning. But the inning started, strategy needed to take place. And I said, hey, I got to go. And I left,
Amazing.
And at that point, there was no regret on my part because, I'm trying to manage a game. That's first and foremost my job. And they took it personally. They got hacked off.
Oh, no.
And I was like, hey, man, so that's the only part that really, but now it's, hey, it's a couple quick questions in between innings. I always request to have it done, early in the game, because you can't predict when the game's what's going to happen in the game. But, I don't want it in the fifth or sixth when you're sitting there trying to grind on a strategy decision. So, long answer to your question, I don't particularly mind it.
Shilty, are we your bread and butter too? Ben and Woods.
Oh man, you guys are bread, butter, strawberry jam,
bacon.
Flattery will get
lard.
You everywhere. My last one, it's an easy one because we were talking all day about movies. What is Mike Shildt's favorite movie of all time?
Man, that's a good one because I've got different thoughts.
Yeah, for different moods. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm gonna go like I'll cry. I'll watch Rudy and cry.
Yes, me too. All right. What about a rom-com, a romantic comedy? Anything in the?
Woods and I both guessed Notting Hill.
We like
don't know
Notting
if
Hill.
you've seen it. We both like it. So
yeah.
I mean, Julia Roberts is my number one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right.
She's strong.
She's so strong.
I didn't have my head in that rom-com space with you guys.
All right.
I didn't know we
Easy
shared
one.
popcorn. And,
All right. Best baseball movie.
Oh, we did this one.
Did
with
we do
him.
that
He
one?
did it when
Natural?
No, it was a movie I'd never heard of before. What was that one again, Shilty?
That was more of a tongue-in-cheek. Bingo Long and the Traveling All.
Oh, yeah.
Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars. I remembered. I couldn't remember the name of it.
That's right.
That's great. That's great.
That's actually probably not my favorite baseball movie. My favorite baseball movie is probably Field of Dreams.
Nice. Yeah, love it too.
I cried. Well,
Let
coming
me
out of the
feel
theater,
Cry every time.
I cried the
Every
first time.
single time. Shilty, thanks so much.
Comedy.
Oh, yeah, comedy. Go ahead.
Right, Blues Brothers.
All right, you and Mud. It's Mud's favorite. It's his go-to.
Yeah. Well, he's from Joliet.
Yep, that's exactly right. Well, thank you for your time.
Joliet,
Good luck
great.
against the Snakes, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right. Enjoy that beautiful day you have in front of you.
We will.
Thank you very much.
Too.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres. Your manager's report refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Now, that's what I needed to know. Mike Shildt, Julia Roberts.
Yep, now I got it. Makes sense. Bread, butter, and strawberry jam is the best answer he's ever given. So good.
Wins above replacement. Julia Roberts, very high.
Yeah, very
in
high.
any movie that she's in.
Yep.
Before we go, since we just had Mike Shildt on, if you want to see Mike Shildt and the Padres take on the Kansas City Royals, we got tickets for next week's next home series against the Royals. It's Star Wars weekend, not Spaceballs weekend. It's Star Wars weekend, June 20th through the 22nd. You can win tickets by calling right now, 833-288-0973. We got a pair of tickets for the June 20th game against the Royals. That's a week from today, next Friday night. Join the Padres from galaxy-sized fun. Secure your seats at padres.com/tickets or call now 833-288-0973. He's not wrong about anything he said. We can discuss what you just heard from the skipper, and we got Jordan Shusterman coming up here at the bottom of the hour as well with more Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Before we get to traffic, this weekend would be a great time to jump into Prize Picks Daily Fantasy. I've been playing for the past year. Got plenty of sports activity. You're watching the golf. Third major of the year is underway. You can Prize Picks. More or less on strokes for some of your favorite players. If you're watching baseball, more or less on hits, runs batted in, home runs for Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Luis Arraez, all your favorite players. And if you are watching basketball, absolutely jump in for the championship series. Pick more or less on points for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Tyrese Halliburton, and more. You combine between 2 and 6 players in your lineup, you can win up to 2,000 times your money with Prize Picks. It's easy to play. It's easy to download. Go to the Prize Picks website. Use the code app KWFN and you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup with code KWFN at Prize Picks. And today is Flex Friday. Make sure you opt in. Tap the little checkbox with your lineup builder. You get eligible for the protected play, which means you win money. You don't win, they give you your money back to play again later. Just another opportunity with Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
So we learned that King and you were coming back. I didn't even ask him about it. I didn't even want to.
He gave an update on Wednesday.
On
both
Wednesday,
of those guys.
yeah. I can't.
Nothing. I promise you, nothing's changed. He was going to throw a simulated game.
Yep.
At the complex,
and
in
nothing's
Arizona.
changed on Michael King.
And nothing's changed on Michael King.
They're waiting. I mean, look, I would honestly you waste your time asking about movies. Yeah, I'd rather hear about his favorite movies than to get another Yu Darvish or Michael King update. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but I can't ask.
I also actually trust that if Shildt had some really great news,
he would say something.
He would just jump in and tell us. He knows what's going on there, and it's a good reminder as we talk to him and whatever question that we ask, and he said it, and I know it's always true. He's been thinking about it more than you have.
No,
the lineup,
keeping him up.
Even though he doesn't change the line, you think that because he doesn't change the lineup much, that he's just rubber stamping it day to day and doesn't give it a thought. He probably agonizes over it every day before eventually deciding, okay, we're going to go with this again today.
Today's the day.
I still think
today's the day Toddy breaks out or something.
I think about all the other combinations that they could put out there. But ultimately, the reason that we put this combination out to begin with,
because we think it's going to be a winner.
Because we think it's the one that gives us the best chance to win the game. Why would I go and change away from something that we put a lot of thought into and decided this is what gives us the best chance to win?
Yeah.
And he thinks about that. And he does. And when I asked him about the adjusting, he goes, yeah, we probably, are much faster on all the information that we get internally. Yeah, it's great. The observations that Eno and other people make. We have that and 17 other things that we are also looking at and trying to figure out and adjust to. And we're adjusting to the other teams as fast as they're adjusting to us and then adjusting again. And that is the game of baseball for you.
It is just it's an incredibly difficult sport. It's an incredibly difficult sport to play and an incredibly difficult sport to manage. It's got to be. And yeah, I mean, we seem. I feel it at home. I'm one of you guys too. I sit at home and when the lineup comes out, I'm like, I bang my head against the wall sometimes. Like, man, switch it up. Switch it up. See what happens if this happens. And I just, again, I don't know. I have no knowledge of what that would look like, and how those conversations would have to go. But again, I don't think it would be anything major, but what do I know?
I do think that managers who change their lineups a lot
constantly,
that whiffs of desperation.
No question.
That tells me
we don't ever.
I don't have any other answers. Now, I wouldn't mind changing it up. I think today would be a great day to do it if you're going to. You got a couple days off. It doesn't feel reactionary. You can lay the groundwork with guys. Hey, we're going to try something new on Friday. You let them know on Wednesday. We're going to try something new on Friday. Get your head around it. You're going to move down a slot. You're going to move up a couple slots, whatever it is. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I certainly respect what he is going for in terms of his thought process and consistency in not doing it as well.
We complained for years about this organization needing more continuity and needing to be more consistent. And, look, you can consistently do something poorly. You can. And that's not the right answer either. When is the right time to do it? Do they have the pieces that they need currently to do it? I don't know. But to make a change, I think we're beyond though making a change for change's sake.
Right.
I think we are beyond that.
And I don't think Mike Shildt would ever even consider making a change for change's sake.
I think
He'll make a change when he thinks it makes sense.
I think we know for a fact. I think the evidence is there. He's not going to make a change just for giggles, never. So I think, again, when Toddy comes up and he's leading up, I'm still very excited. And I think he said it too. You can sense the nervousness. He is a force when he's on. Whatever it is that is, causing him to slump right now, I hope he figures it out.
I do promise you that no pitcher starting the game is, boy, I'm glad Tatis is there and not someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
They're still nervous and they're still like, if I make a mistake,
got to get this out.
He could hit this 480 feet.
I think Arise still remains a decent option at the top, as it worked, a great majority of the time last year. I still think he's a decent guy in that doesn't strike out. Yes, I know he clogs up the base. I know all the negatives on Luis Arise. I do. I know that you're probably, if he gets on, it's going to be from a single. I understand all of that. I do. That being said, he also has the ability to stay up there for 14 pitches. He does. He can stand up there literally. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Jake, though. I liked your idea of
that was not
Jake.
my idea. That was Craig Elston's idea.
I like Craig Elston's idea.
He has the ability to stay up there for 15 minutes. He has it. And then the guys behind him are going, all right, well, there's a slider, there's a changeup, there's a splitter, there's a curveball, blah, blah, blah. Wyatt just said Merrill at the top. I think Merrill's chasing too much right now to put him at the top. I really
thought
do.
about it earlier, but no, I don't think so.
Early in the season, when he was on a torrid pace, I was like, yes, move him to the top, then Toddy, then Manny, then Luis Arise in the 4-hole, which would be wild, but things aren't like they used to be. So I would be down
and
for
that's
it.
what, because Mike Schull also knows hot guys are going to cool off at some point. And that's another reason why he doesn't make too many changes. It's been a while since we've caught up with our friend Jordan Shusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue. He's in the middle of a move, but he just wrote about his thoughts from the Padres Dodgers series that were just completed. Going to chat with him and more about that. Final segment of Ben and Woods is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Before we get to Jordan, though, let's get to a little 7 Mile Casino. Get your weekend started by heading down maybe this afternoon, or you can go tomorrow and enjoy the Saturday or Sunday brunch at Sammy's at 7 Mile and find San Diego's best card room, a short drive down the 5 freeway from downtown San Diego and Chula Vista.
It's exactly right, Benny. As I say all the time, there is a lot to love about 7 Mile Casino. Depends on what you're looking for. If you're a high-limit player, great, no problem. They got you. They'll take good care of you when you go in, and they'll great food, great TVs at the bar, but I love to sit and play California-style blackjack. That's my game. They got Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, and Baccarat as well.
Absolutely. Friendly dealers. They like the high limit action as well. If you are a high limit player, they will have a table ready for you when you sit down with some good competition. They'll take care of you. If you order food at the table, 35% off discount from Sammy's with the 24/7 players menu. It's absolutely fantastic. Check it out this weekend. Tell them Ben and Woods sent you. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
This hour of Ben and Woods brought to you by Frozen Ropes San Diego. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt at Frozen Ropes. Is your child 6 to 12 years old? Then Baseball Summer League is the perfect fit for your player. Starting June 16th, just over a week away through August, no, less than a week away, this next week through August 17th. Summer League includes 8 practices and 8 games. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. We're almost halfway through the year.
Crazy, man.
Crazy how fast it goes. It seems like it's been a long time, though, since we've chatted with Jordan Shusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue. We've got him standing by. He's going to join us to talk Padres, Dodgers, Major League Baseball, and more coming up after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Pretty decent wrap up for our morning drive. Just a couple things to mention here. Eastbound 52, just past the 805. We're getting reports of some landscape debris in the right lane and a crash on the coastline, northbound 5, right before Manchester. A couple vehicles involved. They're clearing that over to the right shoulder. Speaking of coastline, this is the first Friday of the San Diego County Fair, so could prove to be a busy ride on that coastline, especially on the northbound side. The gates open at 11. Right now, things aren't looking too bad, but yeah, if you are going to be heading up or down that coastline ride anywhere near the fairgrounds, you're liable to have lots of company. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Paulie told us that this morning that Jordan Shusterman is going to join us, but he's in the middle of a move. That's one of like life's biggest stresses, they say.
Yeah, but this is such a chess move. Sorry, babe, I got to go. I have an interview I have to do. I'm going to need 20 minutes. It's really a smart decision on our old pal Jordan. How you doing, buddy?
You guys know me well.
Yeah.
This is pretty spot on. You know, I've been shuttling stuff back and forth between houses all morning, but this is a nice little break. I appreciate it.
No worries,
You
man.
didn't hire a moving truck. You're just doing it by hand, like load at a time.
The real movers are coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
But I got to get a head start on a few things. So that's what's going on.
Yeah, I love it, man. How's everything been going, man? You guys are still killing it this year. I can't believe it's mid-June and it's the first time we've talked to you. We miss you guys.
Yeah, no, we miss you guys too. I appreciate you having me on. It's been another great season. It is wild that we are now in, all-star planning is really what we're kind of into right now. I'm getting ready to head to the MLB Draft Combine next week. Obviously, that's an event I really care about. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fun time of year, and now we have a large enough sample where we can't just shrug our shoulders and say it's early. So it's pretty fun.
You're right, man, about that. And in regards to the draft, I mean, think about how many insane prospects that have been recently drafted and have already made their debuts. I mean, some of them took a little bit longer, but you got Jack Caglione. I mean, the kid for Milwaukee last night that came out throwing fire, 102 miles an hour, Mizorowski or whatever his name was, nasty. I mean, these kids they're taking the jump seemingly quicker than they used to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year's class in particular with those college players at the top, Nick Kurtz is the other one that has already debuted from last year's class, which is really impressive with the A's. But this year's going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit more high school heavy. There were only 2 high schoolers taken in the first 15 picks last year. I think this year it could be as many as 7 or 8, including yet another holiday. So you can prepare for those. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's certainly, maybe not as mainstream as the other sports drafts, but it's still a really interesting event, especially because of what you just said. The teams are pushing players a lot faster than they used to.
So, Jordan, I'm always cognizant of that, being hyper local and Padres fans. I know we can't watch every team and every market all the time, but I get the sense now that Padres Dodgers is the best rivalry in baseball. But how does someone who covers the game from a more national perspective view this rivalry, especially after the first meeting of the season between the two teams this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they've earned that based on not just what we've seen from them in the regular season, but the postseason as well, right? I think part of the reason why we've kind of shrugged off Red Sox Yankees in recent years is because Boston has not been relevant late in the season, and we'll see if they can get back on track and change that. But it's that combination. They have generally given us good games in the regular season and good games in the postseason, and obviously all the narratives that are associated with both of these franchises in terms of the Dodgers and Padres, I think gives us plenty to talk about as well. I mean, it's just a lot of really big names, and I think that kind of keeps it fresh. Now, I will say this most recent edition, especially with that second game, I mean, I'm sure Padres fans enjoyed it, but it wasn't necessarily, the most compelling from a neutral fan standpoint. But that series opener was absolutely what we've kind of come to expect from these two teams, and I think that was fun to see again.
And it's nuts, man. We talked about it earlier. Dodgers are 10-9 in their last 19 games. Padres 7-6 in their last 13 games. The Giants seemingly finding a way to get it done, 7-3 in their last 10. I mean, the West is as nasty as it gets. It's going to be a dogfight at the end. Did you think the Dodgers are right where they need to be, or are they behind where you kind of thought they would be? And I know the injuries. I have my own theories on it. I do really feel like they're waiting till after the break to get some of these guys back, and I do think that that's on purpose. But that's a story for another day. Do you think that they are where they need to be, or are they behind where they probably should be?
Yeah, I mean, when you factor in the injuries, I think they have to be feeling pretty good, all things considered, as close as it is. And I mean, it's the real question with them. And when you consider the Padres and how good of a season the Giants are having, I think the Diamondbacks are also a very interesting character in this. And I know you guys are about to see them for the first time this season, I believe. I think that how the Dodgers choose to act, and this is especially relevant with the trade deadline coming up, they'll tell us how they feel, right? I think that they know how important it is to win the division to get that bye, how aggressive they decide to be, and that will be based, like, they know better than anybody when some of these pitchers are actually going to be ready. We can only speculate. And so because of that, now that doesn't guarantee that they're going to stay healthy once they come back, as we obviously know. But I do think that they will kind of tell us with how aggressive they are with maybe some call-ups on the mound, maybe some trades. That will tell us how much of a cushion they feel like they need to get. But I think that the Padres and Giants are both going to be pushing them. I think that the Giants in particular, their pitching is so good. Like, that is a core competency that cannot be ignored. I think their offense has a lot of question marks that deserves to be, doubted. But that is an elite skill. Their pitching at this stage has shown me enough that I think they're going to stay relevant in this mix, if not for the division, definitely in the wild card. And so I think the Dodgers are going to have to act accordingly.
Talking to Jordan Shusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue, and I'm sure you've seen the pieces that are coming out now about, the trade deadline next month, and, who could be targets, who could be sold, what teams are going to be buying, which ones are going to be selling. Padres need a left fielder. No one denies it. AJ Preller was on with us 3 or 4 weeks ago, said he's already started shopping, but he hasn't found one yet. How do you see the Padres trying to fill that need as we get closer to the trade deadline? I mean, there's so many names that have been brought up as potential guys, but not a lot of teams are selling yet.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge is kind of identifying who those sellers are. We know AJ is going to be aggressive, which is awesome. I think that this is really going to be quite the test. As we know, he has thinned out the farm system to a pretty extreme degree. Are there enough steps forward among some of their prospects if they are unwilling to move, DeVries or Salas? Is there enough there to kind of compete with some of the other offers? Because as we bring the Dodgers back into this, that's a team that farm system wise is been having a heck of a season. I hate to tell you guys, but they're having even more pop-up guys.
Great.
If they're going to be able to trade, if they're going to be aggressive. But we know that AJ is maybe willing to push it beyond even the cold, calculated version that maybe the Dodgers are willing to do. So maybe that gives him the edge. It's just unclear who those players are going to be. Now, as for who the left fielder is going to be, of course, that's the much more important question. I know Luis Robert Jr. has been thrown out there. He's obviously having a terrible season, but now becomes this really interesting buy low candidate, because if you're the White Sox, you have this team option on him next year that you're probably not going to pick up no matter what. Do you just keep him and basically let him go for nothing, or do you try to trade him for some level of prospect, and the team, buying him is hoping that he can kind of turn it around with a winning team? He's obviously going to offer more upside than basically any other left fielder that comes to top of mind, but we also know he's struggling. So that's an interesting name, and would certainly fit the kind of big swing that San Diego's used to going for.
Talking to our pal Jordan Shusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue. That is a mouthful, by the way. Jordan, I like what you said about the Dodgers will tell us. You'll know kind of where they're feeling about some of their other guys at the deadline. But remember the offseason when Andrew Friedman, boldly proclaimed, I'm spending money now. I don't want to buy in July. I don't want to. Now, obviously, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and the plan may change. They traditionally don't trade a ton of their top prospects. And, this will tell us kind of where they think they are. Is there if you're the Dodgers, you have to win the World Series. That's it. With the money you spent, the team you have, the MVPs at the top, blah, 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 you have to win the World Series. It's World Series or bust. But also, they've been really kind of smart about holding on to some of their guys, not to an Orioles capacity where they hold on to all of them and nobody can ever get called up, but they've been reluctant to move some of these pieces before.
Yeah, that's true. Although I will say, as you mentioned, I mean, he was very transparent. He said, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think they didn't want to, but I mean, you mentioned it's World Series or bust. I mean, I agree with that broad sentiment. It's absolutely, you better win the division. I mean, this is a team, no matter how many injuries you have, this is the team we thought, they could be going for 120 wins. We know that's probably not on the table anymore. But I think that, as I said before, they do want to put themselves in position to win the division. And I do think that, like I said, they do have the pieces to do so. They have amassed a pretty astonishing number of outfield prospects that at really all levels that will, have we seen any of them? How many of them are definitely going to be a part of their long-term future? But it is important because as good as the Dodgers are now, they're also the oldest team in baseball.
Yep.
And that's a thing that, listen, I mean, we're nitpicking for a team with this amount of talent, but when you talk about that Mookie, Ohtani, Freeman trio, it's as good as it gets, but it's also, guys over 30, if not in their mid-30s. And so they understand that they need to keep the pipeline going. So they're going to have to, as in a way that San Diego has done, they're going to have to identify which of our prospects are absolute no-goes and which are we willing to go. And then they're going to have to be aggressive because they do have the pieces to do it. If you want to hold on and say, sorry, Jackson Merrill is not going anywhere, that obviously was the right way to handle it if you're San Diego. But they're going to have to make some decisions there because there are definitely going to be a lot of guys that they have in their system that other teams are going to want to watch.
Jordan, I have bad news for you. We're going to send you back to schlepping silverware from one house to another.
Enjoy.
Grabbing your drawers of drawers.
And, drawers of drawers.
If I must.
Thank you, buddy.
We appreciate your time.
A wonderful break.
Appreciate you, man.
Take care, man. Have a good weekend.
Moving.
Yep. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, he's moving. It's not going to be a great weekend. Let's be honest. It's a slog. It is a slog. You've got these just cardboard boxes everywhere, and they're all intimidating.
I hope to never do it again.
You open one, and you're like, all right, here we go again.
Yeah.
This one's for the kitchen. And now we got to put them all in new places and everything. It's the worst.
It's the worst. I mean, you haven't done it in forever.
It's been about 14 years now.
Man, it's been about 3 for me, and I hope to never do it again. Never, ever, ever. Never. I want to die in that home. Not anytime soon, but I want it to be my final resting place.
And when you do, trustandwill.com.
They will be there for you.
You don't need another spot at this point. All right, we've got, hopefully a good weekend. First meeting between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. We'll come back on Monday, and then it'll be time to start another series against the Dodgers. They're so crammed together. And then it happens again in August, by the way. Padres play
back-to-back
3, then 1 series, and then 3 more. So the entirety of the 2 Dodgers series will both happen in like 10-day periods twice in the season. And then they'll be done with the Dodgers until a potential, meeting in the playoffs if it happens again, which it has happened 3 times in the last 5 years. So this is going to be another big week for your San Diego Padres. And, they're treading water, 7-6, as you said, in their first 13 game stretch. The second stretch starts tonight in Arizona.
Yeah, against Ryan Nelson, who got absolutely torched in his last start. And I mean torched by the Cincinnati Reds. He was not good at all. Walked 4 batters in 3 innings of work, gave up 7 runs. Diamondbacks lost that game 13-1.
I mean, it doesn't mean nothing, but it also
doesn't mean anything.
It also means he's probably going to make a bunch of adjustments before he takes them out tonight.
Here's what went wrong, Ryan.
And either he'll figure it out or hopefully, in the Padres case, he doesn't tonight. And they can get off to a good start in this series, put some runs on the board.
But he's a good pitcher. I mean, he's a really, really good pitcher. 27 years old, had a really nice run for the Diamondbacks last year.
It ain't going to be easy. You got Gallon Saturday.
And then
Merrill Kelly's been isn't Merrill Kelly on Sunday?
Merrill Kelly on Sunday.
He's been pitching well.
And Nelson is thrown really well against some of the best hitters on our team. So need some breakouts this weekend. Would be a good time. It's a good ballpark to do it. So let's get after it. We need to win this series.
We'll have a U.S. Open champion on Monday morning as well. Sam Burns having a really good 5 under with 1 hole left, 3 under for the tournament, 1 off the lead. Other than that, Oakmont's winning for the most part in the golf tournament right now.
Always does.
Let's see who else is decent today. Chris Kirk, 2 under. Victor Hovland's gotten to 2 unders, 3 under for the day. JJ Spahn's teeing off with the lead right now, but we're not cheering for him because he's a Dodgers fan.
Correct. Wanted to let you guys know, too. Come on out tomorrow, 11 a.m. at the Lost Abbey Sanctuary, our men's mental health group called The Work. Would love to see you out there, 1215 San Alejo Road, San Marcos, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Appreciate you.
Have a great weekend from all of us. Braden is coming up next for our executive producer, Paulie Reindl. For Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great Friday. Have a great Saturday and Sunday and Father's Day from me as well to everybody and all the Tier 1s out there on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.